Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. My name is Taco, and this is my kind of monthly, I don't really pay much attention. I think it's monthly live stream, and we're looking at every sigil from the A Song of Ice and Fire lore from the North. So, yeah, let's go. Hi! Welcome. This is something to talk about. My name is Taco. That is Michael, whom talks about Stoof. And over there is Russ F. The F stands for Federline.
Federline.
Yeah. Is that?
I wanted to closely associate myself with Britney Spears' ex-husband.
I stuttered so bad. I had the joke there the whole time and it just didn't want to come out. I hate that. Like I only stutter a little bit, so people think I don't suffer from an impediment, so they don't make fun of me, or so they do make fun of me. But I do suffer from impediment. I just work really hard on it. So sometimes I feel like if I just did it more, I would get made fun of it less. All right.
I need to get a note from my doctor that says I can't stop swearing.
It's
like become a problem.
Dude, my daughter's been repeating it, so I like have to stop. Like it's no longer an option. Like,
ooh, yeah,
and now it's done, and I have to stop. Although
there are apparently like a lot of people who have never met anyone from New England, and they think that cursing during a conversation is like being abusive to them. So there's a member of our city government who will no longer take my calls because they think I was being threatening because I use the word fuck every third word.
That's funny. All right, let's do a little bit of house cleaning. First, I'm gonna finish my joke. I told my daughter she can't say adult words, so now I'm not allowed to say kid words. That's what she said. She had to counter me. She's like, well, you can't say kid words. She's really smart. But
you shouldn't be baby talking, though. That's good. That's
true.
No,
I definitely don't do baby talking. I swear. Like I did the other wrong thing. But I don't know what a list of kids' words is. So she'll just use it reactionally if she says something. I'm like, maybe you can't say that. She's like, well, you can't say that word. Like it's.
Does she not have like childish nicknames for certain things?
I don't
like
know.
Words that she can't quite pronounce or anything?
Oh yeah, like every word.
Yeah. So those are kid words because like parents will often like mimic those back to the kids.
Yeah,
like
we were told.
I think my kid brother used to call a banana like a nana or something like that. And so like parents tend to mimic that, and that's what I would think when they say you're not allowed to say kid words anymore.
She calls pocky sticks poxy sticks. That's a new one. Anyways, this is a actual video of us trying to stay on track right away. There we go.
I was gonna say,
well, if it was
stick,
go ahead.
Poxy stick reminds me of, I believe it's a phrase in A Song of Ice and Fire. Do they call people poxy whores?
Oh yeah, because
I was just saying if you sent a poxy stick to Maiden Poole, then fucking what's his name would have its crotch washed out with lye.
3 minutes, and we went to the. I just did a video about Randall Tarley, and I never. I skipped that line, and you now said it. So, like, at least now we can find it somewhere in my videos. That was so messed up. I didn't want to say it.
I hesitated because we're early in the video. I didn't want to.
Yep, I wish Russ hesitated.
I think it's important to. I legitimately think it's important not to downplay the horrificness of the things we talk about.
Yeah, I know, but I also like to stay monetized.
Yeah.
Stay what? Oh, monetized?
Stay monetized. So you can try to convey it without using the words.
I'm sorry. I've been holding a middle finger up to TikTok for so long.
It's all good. But look, we're not on.
I forget there are rules some places.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Yeah.
I try to. You're right. I don't try to stay away from it, but there's definitely
no. Your point's absolutely valid. That wasn't even on my mind.
But there's a few things that we just never need to speak of that happens in A Song of Ice and Fire. But anyway,
those are things that didn't need to be written in the first place. Honestly, they feel gratuitous. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay. We will try to stay on target. We haven't even started yet. And
are we live?
Yes. And also we will try to talk to the comments. If you guys want to make sure that your comment is read and played, a good way to do that is to donate. If you send me a super chat, or if you want the entirety of the amount to go straight to me, do it over my PayPal, which is in the link in the description. I believe it's just Taco Mark or something. It's down there. You need to know it, not me. So yeah, we a lot of times try to put up the really funny comments, but they go fast. So if you want to make sure we see it, Super Chat and or PayPal. And so do we want to do this? Do we want to do a guessing game, or do we want to just go alphabetically, or what do we want?
I feel like guessing game would be a little more fun.
All right.
Yeah, guessing game. At least I'll know what to do.
Foxy Jane.
I'll know what to do with my hands.
Oh, that's sad. That's sad. Oh my god. Hey boys. Hey boys.
Hey, look, that conversation was your kid's fault. So.
Well, you should be saying kid words. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Exactly. There we go.
We want to start with a difficult, medium, easy.
Difficult.
Yeah, might as well go with a hard one right away.
Yeah, this is a very hard one.
So those are some. Oh, that's clearly. Oh, these are all from the north, though, right? Okay.
All from the north.
I was going to say that looks Mediterranean because those are clearly brick oven pizza paddles.
So I want everybody who voted for the north to know that Dorne would have been way easier for us to cover. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
It almost won. Dorne was winning for a while, and then nope. Everyone wanted to double our work tonight.
So
April says that she calls people epoxy whore in real life.
That's great.
I was just about to say, if YouTube was listening, these are clearly what I mentioned before. They're epoxy ores. I said ores, not the other thing, but then he said it again. So now YouTube isn't going to believe me.
Michael. You guys,
I was using the British pronunciation, when you just add a random H where there isn't one at the beginning of a word that starts with a vowel.
All right, you guys are making me play it.
Stay on target. We're too close. Stay on target.
All right, stay on target.
We're as on target as we can get because I don't think either of us know that one.
Yeah, it's extremely hard.
Is it something that we can work out based on its content?
I think so. I'm about
okay.
to.
Are those oars or are those paddles?
That is not part of the name.
No, but they got to be near.
It would be paddles. So blue.
So for a canoe,
paddles usually are for a canoe, which is on top of a certain type of element, which would be
water.
All right, and you would call yourself, besides human, if you want to genderize yourself. Maybe I shouldn't assume your gender. Waterman.
Hey.
House Waterman.
They make nice pens.
Yeah, House Waterman. Yeah, they're great. Do they go by Waterman or Waterman? Like, it's a Peter Spiderman, or
is it an E or an A?
I wrote A, which leads me to assume it's not A. No, it is. I was right. Wow. On my newest, I misspelled rattle shirt in my fighting game poll, my fight poll, for 2 games, 2 fights. Rattle shirt went against Weeper and very unfairly won. Weeper definitely should have won that. And no one said anything about the spelling. And then when he went up against Ygritte, somebody's like, it's rattle shirt. Like,
wait, how is it supposed to be spelled if it's not just rattle?
I spelled it with a D.
Oh,
rattle,
okay.
like a baby rattle, which I
think
funny.
Pretty sure a baby rattle is still spelled with T's.
No, I don't need you here, Rust.
They just can't pronounce the T's.
Yeah,
that's a kid word.
All right, let's go medium hard here. Let's go with this one. I consider this medium.
Stone fist?
No. It's not a fist, it's a hand.
No.
Paul's.
Just got oars, you dirty oars. House Mormont. That's actually pretty funny. Is this Bitterstill as in Aegor Bitterstill and you change your stuff? Or is this a different person named Bitterstill? Because I swear these Blackfires are multiplying.
They do tend to do that. One invasion is never enough with them.
Yeah, dude. Even the South gave up after the first one. Well, so far.
I'm also slowly realizing I don't know as many of these sigils as I probably could.
It's not as easy as people think. So, this is a House Flint. So there's going to be 2 House Flints, and this is one of them. So, dumbing it down to just House Flint, do you know which House Flints exist? And take a guess of which one it is.
Is this House Flint of the Danny Flint house?
Possibly. There's also 3 Flints that don't have sigils. There are 5 Flints, and 2 of them have sigils. This is one of the 2. A really awesome YouTuber named Me has done a short on all the House Flints because I don't have a life.
I must have missed that one. So
it's okay. I haven't gone back and watched all of your stuff either.
So there's... Are all the Flints in the north?
I believe so.
Okay. So would that be Flint's finger?
Yes. House Flint of Flint's finger. There you go.
That makes
Did you
sense.
look it up?
I looked up the various Flints and guessed based on the sigil.
Well, this is what I have to say to you. Good job. I finally moved over a bunch of gifts from my other ones. I didn't know why I didn't before. So I finally have this one thanks to Rustle.
What do you think we are, nerds?
And the answer is yes.
Yep.
All right. How is everyone doing in the chat? Let me look. There are like 3 Flint houses. There's like 5. Or is that?
Yeah, there's 4. So you've got House Flint of the Mountains, House Flint of Breakstone Hill, House Flint of Flint's Finger, and House Flint of Widow's Watch.
Yeah. All right. Have you looked at the sigil for Widow's Watch?
Mm-mm.
Good. Don't.
No, it's just a list.
Because it will show up.
Okay.
It's you won't know it. Now you know that House Flint of Widow's Watch exists. But
is there a picture of a widow's walk on the sigil?
I'm not going to tell you. Yes. All right. This one's really adorable. I will be making a short of this. I wrote that down just a minute ago as I was.
That's a pillow house.
It is a pillow house. So I was like, how have I not done a short? So I went into my PowerPoints and hurried and just typed the title down so I don't forget. I believe there is somebody with a lady, a woman from this house, a lady, is married to, sorry, that was my Bill Burr, is married to Wendell Manderly, I believe, from this house.
Oh, so Wendell, the Manderly's wife. Shit, where was that from?
One of them.
And it's a northern house.
Wendell Manderly's wife is from this house.
I feel like I know that.
I
feel like you do not know that.
Well, because she made, I remember her making a stink. Not making a stink, but participating in that whole, farce.
One of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, it's great, especially with the little niece or whoever that is.
Yeah, the one
granddaughter
who gets in the phrase faces.
Yeah, and then you find out and what you find out afterwards, it's a lot of fun.
I love that so much.
Like that's the thing is I actually remember this character. That's why I think I might know the name, because I think he talks about her family like being famous for like having spirit or something.
Maybe. I know that they're more sworn to the Manderlys opposed to anybody else. Like they're kind of a lesser branch around there.
Okay. Shit.
Take a guess, and then I'm gonna give it to you.
Nah, you just keep coming up with Manderly.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no guess.
It starts with a W. Does that help?
W. Waterford.
Nope. We already did.
Wilson.
Waterman.
Westling.
What is shoved inside pillows?
Stuffing down.
What
Feathers.
During this time?
Straw.
Wool.
Starts with a W.
Wool.
Oh, wool. You don't put wool inside pillows.
Yeah, no, not now. No, we don't.
No, you didn't back then either.
They didn't? They probably didn't.
I don't think so.
Well,
anyway.
They're called a wood field. I mean, there's no fields of wool either, if you're going to pick it all apart. Corn didn't exist in this world. It's one of
the tomatoes.
Or tomatoes, but you see both of them.
Yep.
I decided when I am very slowly writing a fantasy novel, and I decided that I'm only going to have animals from the New World and only food from the New World to separate it from every other fantasy. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Tomatoes, potatoes, corn, all the good food. All the good
Mine's
food.
taking place at the center of the earth. So I can kind of do whatever the fuck I want.
One could say Middle Earth.
Not quite. That refers to a time period is all.
Okay. You guys, you want to do an easy one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do it.
The mermaids.
Manderlys.
Manderlys. Yeah.
Merlin Kings.
Yeah. See, there's some easy ones.
Here, I want to try something. Let me stick my face.
No.
No, I'm just putting my face down here.
The risk of doing an easy one was that we get them wrong and then we look even dumber than
Right.
when we don't know the hard ones.
All right. Here's a one that I'm gonna trick you with.
Were the Manderlys called the Mer Kings? I seem to remember that.
Yeah, the Merlin Kings. No, they're from the Merlin court.
Okay.
I believe one of them killed a Merlin King or something, like the first one.
Oh, there was like a war. Yeah.
I am hyped
fight
for
over a
season
woman.
2. I'm so hyped that I did my first ever trailer reaction, and I didn't know what I was doing, and it's completely copyright claimed. So, so lesson learned. I'm keeping it up, and I don't have time to edit anything, so we'll just keep it up. Yeah. I'll give Warner Brothers this one. I told my friend who's a very successful YouTuber who does a lot of TV show reactions and watches and things like that, and he goes, "Yeah, dude, Warner Brothers, you're never gonna win." And I was like, "Okay, well then who cares?" All right. Where were you? So I am hyped for season 2. Long live the. Oh yeah, I forgot, Mohammed, that you're all about the Green Court. That's weird. I know a lot. It's weird because I'm sure you guys can agree to some extent, but when you read the books, you just assume everyone's taking it the way you are, right? So you're like, oh, this guy's clearly bad, and everyone's gonna think this, or at least most of us are gonna think this, and then it's like, oh well, like the black faction in the house in Dance of Dragons is clearly starts as kind of the more good guys because she actually does have the more rightful claim. But then, it all devolves and they're all pretty much evil at the end. But at least for the beginning, they're the good guys. And then you meet people who just do not interpret. Like, what do you mean? The blacks are always bad. Like, oh, I shouldn't say how the black fractions are.
Yeah, I was definitely on Team Rhaenyra from the beginning. But I think that I might be biased by my love of blonde women who can tame large wild animals. So I feel like.
So.
Well, I would like them all to die personally.
I do have a very attractive blonde wife, but all that being said, Aegon's awful.
Yeah, that helps. But I was chosen before he became awful, I think.
Yeah. I think the best thing he does in all the that would be season 2 spoilers. I'm not gonna say it. All right. Here I put it up for a second. Here we go. What do you guys think this is?
Well, that looks like the sun.
Yeah, let's go run for rust. The Sun House.
Does it have anything to do with their name?
No.
Okay. All right.
This is dubious. I am tricking you.
Oh, in what way?
Well,
the unofficial sigil?
Nope. I thought you guys would recognize how it's really close to a really famous one, but it isn't that really famous one.
Yeah, it looks a lot like House Martell.
No, well, all right. We'll do a twofer. It's a play on this house. And I thought you were going to recognize this house because it's a really big one in the north and say this one for the other one. I thought I was bamboozling you guys, but nope. Thought I was giving you the rope-a-dope.
Well, that's Karstark, right?
This is Karstark.
Right.
Yes. Which would make...
Okay.
What would you guess this is then?
So you said this isn't real, though, right?
It is real.
Oh, it is real. I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
No, the sun isn't the name of a real house. No.
Oh, okay. Again, that still looks like Martell to me, minus the spear.
Is it an offshoot of the Karstarks?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Oh, wait.
Kinda.
What are the other Starks?
How far north are we going?
Not a Stark.
How far north are we going?
I'm going to give you the beyond the freaking wall with this one.
Shit, we had Hammered Doghead.
Who from beyond
Who else
the
had a
wall
sigil?
is now a lord and now has a sigil?
Is it Thenn?
Oh, the fucking
guy
Thenn.
who marries
Thenn,
Alice
yes.
Karstark?
House Thenn who marries Alice Karstark. Yep.
There we go.
So I think, there's no way.
Hey.
I think this is all John. I think there is some real intelligence going on here. Really, really good politicking of taking the very proud house of Karstark and barely changing the sigil. I think that's beyond Sigorn's understanding of politics. Maybe. I mean, I'm not going to make any assumptions. I mean,
Depends on how much he understands sigils. Really.
I didn't look at the chat, but April May actually seems to have known that one in the chat.
So I don't know if you know this, but Sigurd of Then is a huge fan favorite. A lot of people know. A lot of people got their no cheating. Yeah. Tell Rust. I mean, tell him. What? Nothing. She said no cheating, so I said tell Rust.
Oh yeah.
It's a cheating joke. My loyalty is forever to Aegon, not because she is a woman. I believe Aegon, the third daughter, Dana, hence Daemon, should be queen, not Viserys. Oh, okay. Whew. All right. Yeah, it had to have been John. But I also don't like just assuming because he's from north of the wall, he doesn't understand politics, because Thens are actually...
No, not understanding politics. I mean, just understanding the importance of a sigil, period.
Because that's more southern politics.
Yeah.
Because I do
somebody
think
else's
Sigurd,
tradition.
When you come to House Then, well, not House Then, but the Thens, they're the most civilized... of the, like, they actually have a civilization, they have a hierarchy, they do have kings, they do have...
Yeah, which is interesting because they seem to be, as far as like what we would call civilized humans, they seem to be the farthest away from that, particularly because of the practice of cannibalism.
Mm-hmm.
So
Thens aren't cannibals.
No?
The Thens are.
We're the bald guys that cut their ears off.
That is from the TV show. They are cannibals. They are not cannibals in any way in the books.
Really?
Okay,
I'm pretty sure.
I might have confused that.
They also don't cut their ears off. Magnar of Then, Steer of Magnar of Then, is missing his ears because of probably frostbite.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right, but he says to what's his name that he likes it because the other guy can't grab him in a fight.
Oh yeah, well,
I can't remember what that's from, but yeah.
Too. At least I don't think they're cannibals at all in the books. I might be off on that.
And maybe Chad seems to agree with you. And I do actually think, now that you mentioned that and Chad backs up, I'm thinking back, and I do think there was a bit of a fuss when people saw them make the Thens cannibals for the first time in the show. People on Reddit were like, why did they make the Thens that?
Well, you have way more barbaric wildlings. Like, you can take any of the free folk, like, make Lord of Bones a cannibal, like, he's so close. Valimir Sixskins, literally a cannibal. Like, you have your cannibals, and then but the Thens are specifically, like, they're further along technology. They're in the Bronze Age. They wear armor. Nobody else wears armor. They do actually have a king. No one else has really, beyond like a chiefdom, beyond like I'm the hardest to kill, therefore you listen to me, which is like where most of the civilizations are at. They're actually at, one step above that. They're closer to feudalism, which of course isn't great, but compared to the other. So they are definitely further along, quote, more civilized. I don't like using those terms. But yeah, that's why I think it stinks that you choose that one to make them more barbaric in the show, because no, they're actually the least, barbaric, at least in my eyes. And Sigurd's a heartthrob. I got a man crush on that guy. All right, you guys want to keep going?
Yeah.
All right, let's get some axing. Let me axe you this. I believe they just do bronze.
Yeah, it's just bronze. I was looking it up, but then you put the sigil up, so I closed chat.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Steer was cool in the show, but yeah, they butchered. Yeah, no, absolutely. He was like a cool little mini villain.
Which one? Oh, the Magnar from the show.
The Steer in the show is like a really great like little mini villain. They were the closest to Southern 4. Yeah. Yep. Thank you. April's agreeing, and if you get April agreeing with you, you're doing pretty good.
All right, so this is a double bit axe.
Yeah, it is
on a white field.
You're nailing this, man.
I've edited the little header underneath my name, from knows at least some of these sigils to knows very few of these sigils. Because
that's great. You don't know this one?
No.
This is actually a rather known one.
Yeah, see, I feel like
one?
Yeah, I feel like they made it into the show.
Now that I'm thinking about it, like for the first time, I'm realizing how very little I pay attention to sigils of anything but like the main houses.
the more I talk to other A Song of Ice and Fire creators, the more I realize I'm obsessed with sigils. Like, I just thought everyone was a little bit, but I make sigil shorts because I find them fascinating and I bring them up, and I like doing this as a topic because I love going through them. When I did our little trivia, I realized that I am definitely the outlier when it comes to my love for sigil.
Yeah, like I said, with main characters, it's like Pawn Stars, where you're my guy that I call in for minor characters, and apparently you're my sigils guy as well.
Well, dude, what's up?
Yeah.
That's a great way to describe people's like autistic special interests.
Yeah.
You're my Pawn Stars guy for this thing.
Oh man, that is also a hilarious way to reference Pawn Stars, because it's like Rick's just like, yeah, I've got an autistic guy for this. He loves these things.
So it's a well-known northern house that made it into the show. You said
well-known for me. I would think they are, but I guess I have to start realizing, like, just because I consider it known, maybe not. I believe we meet a couple people from this house.
Did you say they made it into the show?
I believe they're at least mentioned in the show. Like when like little Leanna Mormont is like describing all the different houses and she's like judging all of them when she's like, so blah blah, you da-da-da-da-da. How come you're not, loving Jon Snow?
I'm trying to remember that speech now. Yeah.
When the 12-year-old makes all the giant men look like biatches.
Yeah.
I love that, like, one of the best characters in the entire show is not a book character. Like, that's what bugged me so much. And they, like, it's not like they didn't have book characters to pull from. Like, Leanna Mormont, I'm not saying she isn't a book character. I said that, but no, it's not true. She technically is. She does write one letter, but we never meet her in the books. She is, she does survive. She is a real human. But yeah, she's definitely not, like, a character. But man, like Beth Casel is, but other cool characters are.
I've been going back through like the old drafts that G-Steph found at the Cushing Library recently, because G-Steph recently just posted a couple more drafts.
Even more? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. I feel like that's like the closest thing we get to a book coming out whenever he goes.
Right. Yeah, it's great stuff. Of the first 3 books she posted, or I think G-Steph's posted the first 3 books drafts like earlier, and what I was thinking of is Lyanna Mormont. When I was going back looking through all the drafts, the original draft had her capitalizing Stark in her letter to Stannis, and Stannis's response was, "The girl presumes to shout at me," which was taken out, but I think that's a hilarious line.
Ooh, that's fantastic. Oh, man, I love that. That's good. Yeah. All right. Starts with a C.
Santagar.
It's not Casel, is it?
Nope. Santagar starts with an S, and it's in Dorne.
Oh, yeah. Celtigar?
Not Casel.
Why do I feel like Celtigar is a thing?
Celtigar is a thing.
Okay, but it's not this.
Yeah. Celtigar and Celtigar are both the same thing, I believe.
I don't think there's not.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But this, you could say S or C. I've heard it said.
Go ahead.
Is it Serwyn?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kerwin, I was going to say.
I've heard it said both ways.
Okay.
So House Kerwin can go both ways is what I'm trying to say. So
that's because it's got that double-sided axe.
Oh, what's up? Yeah. One of those bi-blades. You know what I'm saying? Kerwin, you want to hang out later? All right. Yeah, I mean, my wife's asleep in the house. It wouldn't be right. Okay.
Yeah, wake her up first. Let her watch.
I can't. All
right, so give me a heads up. Sorry, just give me a heads up when you're throwing up a sigil so I can close chat.
Oh, cool.
I'm reading chat.
Well, I wish I could say let's do some more easy ones, but I don't want to like. There's really not.
If we use them all up, if we use all,
you guys are going to be stuck with some of these really hard ones for a while. So. All right, so I'm glad you laughed at that because it made me think. I'm watching.
I was laughing at April. She dropped her tablet and it just held down the N button.
That's what that was.
I was wondering what it was. I thought she was angry typing at it. It's House Kerwin.
The girl presumes to shout at us.
Call back, Huber. Oh my god. All right. Here's what no one will get.
House grapes.
Nailed it.
Green balls.
String of pearls. The jolly green giant's testicles.
Okay, all right. So here, I'll give you a hint. It is not in any way represented in this.
So
that
helps.
Okay,
Here,
red,
so
the house of
green.
red squares.
Go with a different color. So we got green for trees, so it's not house trees. We got brown for dirt, so it's definitely not house dirt.
What?
So there's no blue. It's house lake. I was trying to get us there.
Oh.
Yeah. We wouldn't have gotten there.
I was trying. All right.
There's a house called Blue Lake?
No, just lake.
Oh. I didn't know that either. That looks like a Celtic knot, so I'm going to go with Celtigar.
It isn't.
Are they a northern house?
Or Celtigar? Nope.
Are they a northern house?
Celtigar is not, and I don't think there is a Celtigar.
Oh, okay.
And if there is a Celtigar, and I'm not remembering it, still no. Celtigar, I want to say, is a Dornish house. Santigar is. Oh my god, now I'm confused with my agars. But what was the second word you said? Celtic what?
Just Celtigar.
Celtic
it's just Celtigar with a hard C.
I know, I know, but you said it's a Celtic what?
Knot.
Oh, a Celtic knot.
So?
House knot?
House knot.
House rope. Oh,
House
shit.
knot.
You got there.
You just go right back to lake. House lake.
House water. House
that
wet.
Is actually a reasonable sigil for house knot.
Yeah, and that's a northern mountain tribe. Really awesome.
I was gonna say, I thought that was a mountain clan, but I didn't know.
So the mountain clans don't only rock sigils, they rock cool sigils. I want you to know that right now. Like when we bring up a mountain clan, they got some cool ones, and that's one of them. And I got another one I'm waiting for later that's easily top 5 sigils.
I feel like if I had played the Crusader Kings Game of Thrones mod recently, it would have helped.
I feel like I'm the only dude who doesn't. Yeah, April, your last one. Okay, so there is a Celtigar in the Stormlands, and I'm thinking of Santigar. Yeah, House Celtigar. Yep, that's the one with the crabs. Is Celtigar, and Santigar is the Dornish one. Okay, and April, yeah, like the buckets. That's actually what we're talking about. We'll do it now. The buckets one is top 3 sigils, or whatever I said, top 5. Not houses, just sigils. This one's so good. This
is House Wool, right?
This is House Wool. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's Big Bucket Wool.
Big Buckets Wool and Buckets Wool. Yeah. I feel like once a generation, they're like, did finally Uncle Fred the Buckets Wool die? Yeah, he just died yesterday. Can I please be Frank the Buckets? You can be. Like, we finally get another Buckets! Because there's big buckets and buckets in 2 different generations.
It's like being the dawn of the morning, but you get to be a bucket.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you've graduated from Little Bucket, now you're Big Bucket.
Now
instead of Little Bucket, go with Ladle.
Now, because you guys are saying little and big, I'm sure at least one person knows where I'm going now.
Phrase.
No, this is actually another mountain clansman. Here we go. This is best nicknames in the North. Whole family.
Best nicknames?
Oh yeah. Yeah. At least one person in the chat's gonna get this.
Okay, so I do remember this one being described in the book.
Yeah, these guys are in the book.
I believe it was during the battle with...
This person's right. Celtigar or Celtigar is Crownlands.
Okay.
But yeah, sorry, keep going.
I believe I remember the sigil being described during the combat with the Ironborn.
Maybe.
When the forest was creeping up on them around that time.
God, talk about a scene. You know, Mr. Frickin' Old God video theorist, bro, how you never made a video about the forest coming up and attacking them at Deepwood. That is like the most symbolic Old Gods fight.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It is really good.
Grimtongue kills 9 of them.
So who are the families? Is Dustin a northern family? Why do I feel like Dustin was heavily involved with that? But it's not that sigil? Okay. Have we done Dustin already?
No, we have not.
Okay.
And they're not a
Is this
mountain
the?
No,
is this the other? Is this the other Flint?
No.
Okay.
The Flint that's part of the mountain clans doesn't have a sigil.
Right. Oh, this is a mountain clan?
This is a mountain
this one
clan,
is.
and it is not.
Oh, so they have the best nicknames.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I'm thinking of the Vale Mountain Men now.
They got
I was
pretty good nicknames.
I was gonna say the Burned Men. They've got the best, but
Timid. Fuck
yeah, exactly.
Did I win? Is it House of Watermelon? It is not House of Watermelon. Wood Booger, sound of the Wood Burger. Can I take your order? It isn't Nori, but Thaddeus 56. I hope no one's watching because he did get it right. I'll give you a hit. You want to hear the nicknames?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's 3 brothers, and the oldest one is called Big Blank, and then the middle one's called Middle Blank, and the youngest one's named Little Blank. Blank's the last name. So if like our last name is Taco, it's Big Taco, Middle Taco, Little Taco.
I
But
don't remember those people.
the last name is hilarious to go with this naming convention. It's the best. I think I'm
Is
gonna
it
do
is
an
it is
entire
it
video on
is it ass?
No.
House ass? House donkey?
No,
Wait.
yes.
House jerk?
No. It's
House penis.
It's a no. Stop. No. Stop. No.
You said it would be
not
funny with sizes in front
funny,
of it.
but it's funny, but it's punny.
It's
little.
Punny.
Little,
Okay.
It's little.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
It's
I was
big,
trying,
little,
yes.
middle, little, and little.
Yes, that's right.
Oh.
No,
Yeah.
comedy doesn't equal.
I
dick
should
all
have
the
known
time.
that.
There's
No, but if it's funny to put sizes in front of it, that's
All right.
the first
Yeah.
thing.
I'll give that to you.
Yeah. No,
Get
that.
it? It's a small
I had-
joke, a small dick joke. Get it? I get it.
Yeah. I'm like
It's my
also
impression
trying
of Lust.
trying
I
to
made a
remember,
joke.
like as many different like mountain clans and random houses as I can now at this point. Like, is this the one where like does Bran think about them as he's like passing through their territory and he meets
Possibly
one of them?
that either that or the wolves or the knots.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I think the only one we haven't done is Nori.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the only mountain clan we haven't done yet.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be an easy one to guess, so I can go ahead and tell you House Nori exists because it's not an easy one. All right, here's one I consider kind of easy.
Is that the what's their names?
It's not the Reeds.
The Reeds, no?
It's
Damn
not
it.
the Reeds.
Is it Bogmen though?
It is one of the Chronic Men.
Okay.
What other
So-
Cranningman houses are there?
I
So
can't
there's
remember.
a bunch, but I'll
know
narrow
the-
it down. They have a bunch that are like Leaf and Frog and Toad and Bog. Like, they have like a little rhyme. But only 2 of them, House Reed and this one, have a sigil. This
Okay.
is the only 2 Chronic Men that actually have a sigil.
House Toadman.
Are they
No.
affiliated with the Bog Devils?
Maybe. But the only one we meet isn't in the neck. He's somewhere else. And he doesn't really come off like like how you associate the Reeds as very Chronic Men-y. This guy doesn't come off that way. He's just another dude.
Do we meet him on the far side of the Narrow Sea?
No, we meet him
Okay.
at the wall.
At the wall.
Yeah.
We meet a Crannog man at the wall.
Mm-hmm. And he
Is he a
doesn't
brother?
come off Chronic Men-y.
Is he a brother?
He's a brother.
Okay.
He's high up, actually.
It's
High
not.
up.
It's not Donald Noy, is it?
It is not House Noy. Nope.
Okay.
Donald Noy is not from the north.
Yeah. Okay.
He's
Was
from
that was the one-armed blacksmith?
Yeah.
Yep. He made
Okay.
all of he worked at he made all
The
of
Baratheon's place, yeah.
weapons. Yeah.
Yeah.
Storm's End.
Until he lost his arm. All right, so he was fairly high. All right, so we have Slint, probably not Slint.
It is definitely not
We know Slint Sigil, and they're not Northerners.
definitely not.
What was the other officer that got hanged?
This is an officer.
It's not Thorn.
It is not
Thorn.
Thorn.
Okay,
Um,
Ted Frog. House.
it's not
Ribbit.
Mormont.
You nailed it.
yeah. We know. I would know Mormont.
Yeah.
House Kermit.
Wait, is there a Kermit in this house? Glover? No. Tully. The Tullys had a Kermit.
Looking at the wiki, I don't have the mental faculties to answer this one, Big Taco.
No, I'm lost on this one.
Yeah.
Give us
You
more
guys
hints.
are gonna get mad because he's for the watch.
For the watch.
For the watch. You want an hint?
So, fucking Ollie?
Bowen Marsh.
Bowen Marsh. House Marsh.
That makes complete sense now. That
it does.
It's
but see what I mean is he does not. Bowen Marsh is not bogged.
No, he doesn't.
No,
he doesn't need a single frog. On screen.
Also, so I did a video on House Marsh forever ago. It was like one of my first sigils, and it was really just so I can make a pomegranate joke because they call him. The way it's set up is, hey, you know how we call Gior Mormont the old bear? Well, we call Bowen Marsh the old pomegranate. It's because he looks like a pomegranate. So it doesn't fit the nickname convention.
Yeah.
So he should be called the old frog. But he doesn't look like a frog. He's big and red and pimply. He looks like a pomegranate. I had to make a short of that.
I did now just get the image in my head of Howland Reed showing up in the books like right after Bowen Marsh has stabbed John, being like, "You idiot! What are you doing here? The only other Crannogman here is ruining this, and I just showed up to tell him who he was."
Hey, you're a Crannogman too. Where are you keeping Jon Snow, our Lord and Savior? I just stabbed him.
yeah, exactly. He's like, dude, I came all this way for that guy.
No, I know you think he was Jesus, but trust me, he was the worst.
Have you
can have him back if you want.
You are the worst, Bowen. Before you stab someone, consider maybe you're the problem.
Maybe Howland Reed's the worst. He's not showed up to do anything. He's like,
right? What the fuck is he doing? He's better have a good explanation for what he's been doing this whole time.
You know what Howland Reed makes me think of? Like, what if like Ben Franklin sat the revolution out? You know, like, hey man, you're exactly what we need. He's like, I'm gonna hang over here. I'm not leaving my swamp, okay? Good stuff.
A time traveler came and told me I don't get to be president. I'm out.
Yeah. No. Howland gets involved. No, he sends his little children.
Yeah.
by themselves. What a jerk. Howland Reed.
So there must be a reason for all of this, obviously. But what I'm thinking is like it's potential that like Howland has been like physically incapacitated this entire time. And that
sorry, go ahead.
Or his children might have like with him being incapacitated, the children might have made this decision all on their own based entirely on Jojen's dreams.
Maybe. Or if you follow theories, his wife is a Shardane and he ain't leaving that bedroom, yo.
There was actually one of the cut lines in, I think, one of the new G-Stuff posts is Mira saying to Jojen something like, "Careful, Jojen, remember what father said," which seems to confirm that Howland is alive and still chilling at home. Why, we don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he could be bedridden. He could be pulling an Uncle Charlie.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, who's the uncle from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Uncle Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah. Which is, there's a lot of there's more Joe apologists, but I'm on the screw Uncle Joe or Grandpa Joe.
Yeah.
Because Grandpa Joe is a piece of crap. Because he just laid there doing nothing. And the second there was free candy involved, he's like, my legs work. Whoa. It's like, oh, screw you. Get a job, Joe.
Howland, the second he hears John's resurrected, he's just like, my legs work again. Let's go north.
Starts singing that song.
Yeah.
Where there's a whip, there's a way.
I don't know if that's the song.
That's definitely what he sings to the Oompa Loompas in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
All right, here's the one.
I got it from that Lord of the Rings cartoon.
Yeah.
A big knife. I got another joke here, but so give me a second here.
That's House Bowie.
Well, close.
Really?
Yeah, actually.
All right.
Hey, you got a lot of the letters right. Here's another depiction of somebody drawing this sigil, or at least a painting inspired by it. It's Strombad painting a guy with a really big knife.
So it's House Rambo.
So if you don't like strong bad jokes, you should.
Everybody likes strong bad jokes.
I wait until my April
He was painting
Fool's
Rambo, right?
My April Fool's short is gonna probably piss people off.
Oh, I've got a good April Fool's video planned.
I have them both filmed. I'm filmed up to May. I've been bored lately.
Nice.
I have two to three videos a week up to May right now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good shit.
And I calculated my list of characters I will be doing once a week. So I was like, hey, how far am I ahead? And these aren't ones I've filmed or written. These are just like the list that I'm going to do. July of 2025. So if I just stop adding names now, I will at least have a list till then. Yeah, holy crap.
You've got content for a minute. Thanks, George.
Yeah, thanks. No, and somebody's like, what if you run out? And I'm like, run out?
It's been 13 fucking years. We're just making shit up at this point.
Theory guys, I mean, look, Michael has to say
I'm going to run out soon.
He has to come up with some crazy crap.
I'll just build a deeper iceberg, man. You can do it.
Yeah.
You know, in 5 years, somebody's going to be like, Nettles and Nan are the same person. That's poultry stuff.
That's the thing. Like, if you came up with a crazy theory 8 years ago, it's now like in the fandom, and people are willing to accept that maybe that's a thing. Like,
Not only are they accepting that it's a thing, but they're now saying it's too obvious to be true.
Right.
But 8 years ago, it was crazy.
This is such like a cool. Has this sort of thing ever happened in literature before? Where people knew that the rest of the series was coming and they had this long to sit around just talking about it?
I don't believe so.
Probably not.
Okay.
Not with the internet.
Not with the help of the internet.
Like people just sitting around like waiting for, Mark Twain to drop Huckleberry Finn. They're rabid theorizing about Tom Sawyer.
I can't remember Douglas Adams. I mean, with the Hitchhiker's Guidebooks, there was definitely talk probably among, nerds, but it wasn't like they didn't have the internet. Like we all live in different states.
I mean, I feel like this is a phenomenon that like you couldn't create.
Mm-hmm.
We're in a unique experience, and as annoying as it is, I'm enjoying it.
So what's this?
That's a fucking Bowie knife.
So close.
Blue knife.
How's blue?
Does it start with a B?
It does.
Okay. How's brown?
Don't laugh at Michael's hard thought theories, okay? He puts a lot of work into this. He's got to throw both darts at two different people and then go, that person's going to be that person. How? Via Children of the Forest. They're both, I'm going on right.
Do you have a cork board with red yarn running around it?
No, but I've considered like making one of those for like a gag at one point or another, just like stringing up a bunch of stuff, being like, all right, guys, here's what we're doing today.
Yeah, because you don't look like Matthew, not Matthew. You don't look like the
Charlie
dude
Day.
From no
Pepe Sylvia.
No, True Detective. You
Russell.
look like Matthew McConaughey so much from that, and he even has one of those in that. You look you look like Russ Cole from season 1 True Detective.
I forgot he had one of those.
Much.
I was gonna bring this up, Taco. You mentioned at one point you like started watching my videos and you just didn't believe any of my theories, and then slowly you felt like you were being indoctrinated and we were about to go buy a farm somewhere.
I believe I said stronghold in Texas.
Does seeing my appearance make you more or less confident that we're eventually all going to buy a farm somewhere in Texas?
I don't know if it is an adjective, but you do look Koreshian.
I was gonna say you look like a skinny David Koresh.
Yeah, with a hardcore awesome mustache. I don't think I'll let you marry my wife. Other than I won't transfer my wife to you. But you are charismatic and gorgeous.
Taco, you haven't seen my video yet about why you should. So just wait till that video comes out.
You're right. Koresh didn't open with that. He
right,
held that
you never
one for
opened
a
with
while.
that.
No. You wait until they're deep in the stronghold and you're like, hey, you know how sex is bad unless I'm doing it. I'm listening. Oh,
Have
my
you
God.
all considered abstinence, except for not your wives?
Yeah. No, he literally, this is a good sell. He sold that sex is evil and he'll take that burden on. That's literally the sell.
That is a
Let me
hilarious way to
save
phrase
you.
that.
Pork in your life. Wood Booger did I love that name. Wood Booger Farm did guess it. Let's not start our own Mount Carmel, guys. Let's move on. I was kidding. We will not cult.
George, have wins out by 2025, or we're starting a cult
We
and
are
we're moving to the
culting up.
farm. It's all we have left.
All right. You guys
We've
give
run
up?
out of other things. I give up, yeah.
It's either guess the name of the sigil or we're culting.
I went with Brown just because that seems to have a lot of letters of Bowie.
It's got more than that.
Oh.
So if I was like a strong, muscular man, what's a B synonym?
What's the male version of a bimbo?
No.
Himbo.
It's an adjective. It's an adjective.
A himbo. That's right.
It's an adjective, not a noun.
Brawny.
Close.
Burly.
House Burley.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, and
words. I haven't drank enough to forget words yet.
I want everyone to know that Wood Booger Farm figured it out first. You guys are failing because Wood Booger Farm setting the curve too high for you guys.
Did I tell you about the time that I had to do a video reply to somebody called Hot Dog Water Jewel Pod? They had a really good comment.
Halfway through the name. Hot Dog Water what?
Jewel Pod.
Jewel Pod?
The flavor of the Jewel Pod.
The nicotine, those jewels.
Oh, Jewel Pod. That's
fucking
hilarious.
That is a great name.
Hot Dog Water Jewel Pod.
I made this video about a casino bombing, and he was like, "What's the difference between dynamite and TNT?" I was like, "I'm making a video response to this username."
If his name was Ted, you would not have done it.
No, I needed to explain it anyway. It should have been in the original video, but
I'm gonna put up another one, and then I'm gonna step away and open the window because I am becoming a sweaty teddy.
All right.
I mean, we prefer you that way, and you know it. But
I did a 3-hour live stream where I was running an entire nerd tournament that like 2 days
nerd
after.
herd?
No, it's called Geek Gauntlets. They're still on the channel. They were really fun.
Okay.
I stopped doing them. They were a lot of work though. But it was like a 16 character tournament, and all characters are from different fandoms. And then we all vote on who would win, and then the chat can also vote. It was back when I only had like 3 commenters, so it was really easy. Like everyone had a vote. That would be a little more difficult, like times 2. But I did it like the day after COVID, and I thought my brain was gonna be fine. And it was like, it was like day after feeling the side effects. Like I thought I was out of it. I was like, all right, guys, let's do it. I sweated bullets hardcore the whole time. Like I looked like I was dying. And also I could not string 2 sentences together. So like halfway through, I'm like, this is such a bad idea. And I started like sending private chats like, people just start stealing responsibilities from me, please. Like somebody else start counting votes or something. I can't do this. It was live. I was like, I seriously we had to put up cards to read them, and I just kept going like somebody else. I can read anymore. My brain was just mush. All right. How hard of a one? Between 1 and 10. I'll put it up and I'll go open my window.
420.
4.
Yep.
We'll guess it correctly.
3.14159.
I consider this a 4.
We're gonna guess it correctly while you're gone, but then we're gonna forget by the time you're back. So
yeah,
sounds like you know it. I'll be right back. It's not long.
Okay. So it's a blue circle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the sigil of the blue-eyed giant whose face we live in.
Oh, Macumber.
Oh, was that his name? I didn't even remember he had a name.
In the show, at the very least.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. I really liked the way the actor said that too.
Yeah.
What do you think it is?
The blue-eyed giant whose eye we live inside of.
Macumba?
Yeah. Something like that.
It is not. That's a show thing.
Yeah.
That is not.
I think it's also a Norse mythology thing, but I'm not positive on that one. I think that was like.
Okay.
Some mythology thing.
House Blueberry.
Another body of water.
Oh shit!
Really
House Lake.
Round
House
lake.
Pond. House Puddle.
Close.
Stream.
Same letter of P.
Pond.
And,
it's not. Pool.
House Poole.
Yeah.
Yeah. With an E on the end.
Yep.
There is a pool. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Did chat get it?
I don't know. I haven't looked yet. I'm too busy eating. My wife has to drive through.
House Blue Balls is what chat says.
They guessed House Blue Balls, which is also a very good guess.
My wife has to drive through the state for her job to go check out places on the other side of the state, and she'll just buy snacks from like gas stations, and she just like won't eat them. So I got to just like pick apart them, and I've been going through the s'mores cereal candy bar, and guess what? It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
If we're having
cereal bars are pretty good.
Yeah.
If we're having interesting snacks, I'm gonna break out the thing that I've had sitting here for the correct moment.
House Ball does not look like that. That's a different sigil.
I have a pound of Skittles. My favorite thing to combine them with is the sweet
cocktail.
I've got fruit.
The high one.
You got to put it in a martini glass.
A shrimp cocktail or a pound of Skittles. What's more?
Okay, hold on. I didn't finish mine. Okay, you have to combine the Skittles with Sweet Tart's rope. That's the best combination.
You're more high.
I thought this would be the funniest thing I could eat on stream. That would be quiet.
It is so funny. Hey, wait, I got a crustacean one.
Oh, perfect. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hold on. If we're doing weird stuff, I'll put my hat on.
Stay on target. All right.
How Panama do I look?
You look pretty Panama. You look like Van Halen song.
Loud and obnoxious.
Panama.
Yep. All right. So this is a friggin' green lobster with a spear in its claws.
Okay. Let me know when you want hints.
Is it a lobster or a crawdad?
I want to say lobster.
Okay. So I'm guessing it's not particularly relevant to the name of the house.
They're from an island.
This is my island in the sun.
What islands are in the north besides Chicago? So there must be.
Yeah. The Isle of Green Faces.
Or the Sisters. Or the Sisters.
There's the Isle of Green Faces.
The sisters are not.
That lobster has a green face.
In Chicago,
so I'm going to go with Isle of the Green Faces.
Chicago, no. The Isle of the Green Men, definitely not in the north. Dude.
Oh, am I mixing up my Lord of the Rings shit again?
Russ, let me talk, please. Chicago's has 3 houses on it, all with sigils.
Okay.
So, and no, Isle of the Green Men is from these books, The Song of Ice and Fire, Rust. The Isle of the Green. You should read it.
Did I call it something else though?
They call it the Isle of Faces.
Okay.
Okay.
Because there is that Lord of the Rings thing with the. I said Isle of the Green Faces.
Green Faces. You combine.
Which I think is what I was mixing in from Lord of the Rings.
The Green Men live on the Isle of Faces.
Yeah, Burrell is
okay.
Is from the Sistermen, and Burrell is awesome. I did do a video for Godric Burrell, but that is the Vale.
Yeah.
This is Skagosi.
What are the houses on Skagos?
This is one of them.
Is there a house? Is it like?
Can you give us the name of one of the other ones?
Skane? Is Skane a house on Skagos?
Nope, Skane is a separate island that's complete.
Okay.
Oh, there's a house that sounds like Skane.
Okay.
From Skagos. It's 1 letter off. But Skane itself is a different island. But
gotcha.
There are 3 houses. This is the coolest one. And then there's 2 others. This is easily one of the coolest names too, because it's just a cool name, bro.
Now I feel bad for not knowing it.
Yeah, same here.
What's the name for?
No, I don't.
What's the name for king in the First Man language?
In the First Man language, shit.
Magnar.
Is it Magnar?
Magnar! House Magnar.
Oh,
There we go.
Dude,
I thought
it's
you were
awesome.
giving us like a hint.
That is
I didn't know you were
awesome.
telling
Yeah,
us
no.
it.
Yep.
I mean, technically, it was a hint. It was just a direct hint.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought like a hint to a hint.
Okay, this I have to. I've been queuing up this clip in my mind because I just keep giving you guys hints and you not getting them just makes me think.
What do you think we are, nerds?
Yeah,
We are not nerds here. We just like books and shrimp, and you know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I ended up here.
you were on.
I'm a history content creator, man. I make videos about the IRA blowing up royals. I mean,
I often do not know how Russ did end up here.
oh, it's because I accidentally introduced Mira to the community, and then Mira jumped in really hard, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to come in?" I was like, "Yeah." She
introduced me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we haven't talked in forever. She's like, "Here, get in here, bye." But no, that's funny. I love Mira. Here's
Guys, apparently she said that I sent her an Alt-Shift-X video, and apparently she said I was the first person to ever send her one. Like, months after it happened, I was like, "That's weird." I thought you were really. I thought she was steeped in the stuff.
I discovered Alt-Shift-X like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like when he first started, like when his audio was still like
I can't remember how long I've been watching him. It's been a long time.
Out of your mouth, Aldi. I know we call
Lately I've been watching videos about like the histories of like speed runs and especially like cheating investigations. I don't give a shit about speed running, but these these
I think I've watched the
called.
same ones. The dude
I know,
does,
yeah.
Yeah.
Carl something or another. Is that his name?
Yes, I think so.
Guy with the blonde hair.
I don't think he shows his face in mine in the ones I've been watching.
He's got a
it's
his thumbnail.
I think you're correct. It's Carl Jost or something.
Yes.
Yep. I watch a lot of those.
But also, what actually got me into the speedrunning videos was one Short Eye. He did the history on all of the various King's Quest speedrunning, and it's fascinating. I don't give a shit about speedrunning, but this stuff is amazing. It was to the point where I actually like manually did the subtitles for all of his King's Quest videos, just because I felt like it was that good that many people needed to be able to see them.
Was he the guy who broke down all the completionists stuff? Because that's how
I'm not sure. But with his, he was doing specifically, it was the King's Quest series that was really good.
You did it blindfolded?
No, this was a different one.
Oh, okay.
I know the one you mean with the blindfolded person who's pretending not to have a third monitor.
Okay.
Anyway.
This house.
Keys and purple. Oh, purple's not as significant in this world as it is.
Nope.
IRL.
We have to have this conversation every time we do.
Yep.
You're like, purple, they must be royal. Like, nope, not important.
Yeah, is this house lock? Because I don't think there's house.
Okay. It is house lock.
Okay.
With an E.
Yeah.
And since you didn't say that, you don't get a point.
Not with an L?
Oh.
No.
You ever see the Starbucks cup that's like, what's your name? And it's like Mark with a K. And they brought back Clark.
Yeah.
That's so good.
That's free marketing. Every time they fuck it up so bad that somebody posts it, it's just free marketing. It's good.
What is the opposite of a silent letter? It's just a letter that's not there, but you have to pronounce. They should have a word for that.
Oh, there is a word. There must be a word for that because people do that.
Yeah, it's got to be one, but I don't know what it is.
You guys, this is such a specific question, but it's just so I can get to a Goldberg joke. You guys ever hear a joke later in your life and you're like, where was that in high school? Like, how come I never knew that? Like, it is such a good insult. And I went on a wrestling kick. I'm still on a wrestling kick for like a couple months, and I'm not watching pro wrestling. I'm watching like history and in lore. As weird as so, I'm a lore guy, so I'm even getting into like wrestling lore. But it's specifically like behind the scenes stuff and things like that. So I get a short, and it's just like a random wrestling podcast. I don't recognize anybody in it, and they're just laughing about a sign somebody's holding up.
I know the sign you mean.
And the sign is Goldberg eats corn the long way. And I'm like, Where was that insult? My whole high school, like, it's so good.
Oh man,
So
dude,
I said that to my
yeah.
wrestling, a friend of mine who's a wrestling guy, and within 10 minutes of me leaving the conversation, he sent me an actual picture that somebody made of like Goldberg all buff in the field, like eating corn. And it's like, well, people made fan art of this sign. I don't know. Eats corn the long way. How did I get through without that one? That's so good.
Yeah, that is good.
I feel like I could have avoided so many fights if I knew that one. Like I could have thrown that out and everyone would have been laughing too hard. Guy. Like I feel like
yeah.
So the opposite of a silent letter is
God.
called an invisible letter. I'm not joking.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It does. But there must be another one, because like I feel like invisible letter is for a word where you always pronounce it, but then you've got like the British thing I mentioned earlier, where sometimes they throw an H on the front. I assume that would probably have a different word, but I don't know how to Google it.
Something really cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Made up invisible letter.
We should juice this thing up real good so it's a letdown when it comes.
No,
this is gonna be amazing, Taco. What is it? Oh, I'm so fucking excited.
Rust. Mower you. No, so I got House Stark, but everyone's gonna know House Stark. So I'm gonna make you guess what the actual House Stark is.
Oh,
so
okay.
There is a variant, and then there's the real one, and they get confused. So
okay,
is this House Stark, or is this House Stark?
I don't think I've ever heard it described as the head of a dire wolf.
Yeah, same.
But I also have never looked it up to look at it.
This
and
looks like the one that's used in the show a lot. They use that.
Yeah.
A lot.
But they just never say that. I'm gonna say that the full body is the Stark banner.
I would agree. That would just be like the alternative design. That's their throwback uniform.
That's what they put on like a shield.
This is Robb Stark's personal arms.
Okay.
Oh,
so his army used.
Ooh, that
that's
turned
why
nasty, didn't it?
So much. Yeah. Because
it does.
Yep. That is absolutely a foreshadow from.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I have to take my dog out.
This is the main one. All right,
I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Give me a thumbs up when you want back in, Rest. All right. Sometimes people sit down and I like let them in and they're like, anyway, so I was. Oh wait, no, like they weren't. Okay, so. I can write done next to House Stark because that would have been lame. Like, which one is this one?
Yeah.
Everyone will know. I hope. Burley? Is that one? No. Evening, folks. Chables, the Elgromancer.
Hey. Yeah.
Does he
Chables.
do Elgromance for you, too?
He does, and he actually gave me like a really useful comment recently on a video that I did that made it into the next
I know you didn't
into the next
mean,
thing.
But well, it was like you finally did something cool.
Like he gave me a comment that like actually made it into my next video, being like, "Oh hey," and Chables in the comments pointed this out, and that's really cool.
And Chables in the comments said Elgromancy, and we all laughed and moved on.
Yeah,
it took me so long. I think I've said it online on stream before, but it took me a while to figure out what Elgromancy was. And then somebody finally threw it, like explained it. I think Mira explained it. I'm like, oh duh.
Yeah.
And it's just there's a lot of I don't know how many you get, but I get a lot of comments that are just like bumps. Like because we used to call that kind of like you would just type bump. Like you want to add to the algorithm and you want somebody to have an extra comment, but you don't have anything to add. Like this was a good video, right? So you would just like so I get first to take the black a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. From somebody I can't remember his name. I feel like a jerk because they do that all the time and they at least need a verbal shout out. So let me find it. But yeah, and then of course, Elgromancy is like the biggest like bump.
Yeah. And yeah, Chables, if you didn't see it, your comment about the moon in Elden Ring made it into my next Elden Ring video that I put out because
Yeah, you and your Elden Ring videos lately. I don't know anything about the Elden Ring, so I don't really get to participate as much. I
didn't either until like I started getting comments like several months ago being like, hey, this is just like a thing that happens in Elden Ring. And like, if you put out enough theories and people are like, hey, this is exactly like something that happens in Elden Ring, and it's written by George as well, I'm like, okay, I should really learn some Elden Ring because it might actually back up some of this stuff that I'm saying here.
Yeah.
So I spent like a couple months trying to watch Elden Ring lore videos, and I still have no idea what I'm talking about, but I try to make connections.
I like it. It's just like I understand why you're doing it. It's just like I got nothing.
Yeah. Right. No, for sure.
I can't find the guy's name, and I feel bad. Lawrence something. I don't know. I'm wrong. Do you know? Oh, he doesn't want in.
He's like, no, get me out of here.
And in the private chat said here. Okay. When he comes back, I'll let him in. I did see. Cool.
Yeah.
There are lore videos. No excuse.
You have an excuse. Like, there's lore videos, but one of them that I almost used is like hey guys, like, I'm trying my best here, but Elden Ring lore is complicated. I was going to have on the screen a picture of Elden Ring lore explained, part 1, and the video's 13 hours, 37 minutes long, and it's part 1, and all of the parts are that long. I'm like, what the hell? How am I supposed to get my head around this?
I like your Blood Raven being House from Fallout. That was brilliant.
Yeah,
because I'm a big. So when I had to decide what lore to dig into, and I constantly think, oh, I should do history stuff, but Russ will hate me, and all this other stuff. Well, I'm gonna start doing it, and I got better hair, so you're gonna get jealous.
Well, hold on. You have better hair because of my choice of haircut.
True.
If you want to compete on hair, I'll grow my
better
fucking
clothes
hair out,
because
bro.
you wear better clothes. Yeah. That's how it works.
I've got the voice, though, man. I got that going for me.
You do get a good voice.
People talk about that.
I got a cartoony voice. Like,
no, your voice is fine, man. I like your voice.
Oh, thanks. Russ is flirting with me now. You always wait until the beer gets in me a little bit, and then you start throwing little flirts. Don't think I didn't notice. Okay, we already did House Poole, so
sometimes I even pretend to be interested in your beer.
Yeah. Sometimes you wait until my sentence isn't in the middle. That time you
Sorry.
didn't.
I'm at that level of stoned where my brain kind of pops the clutch. So
where do you go?
I'll work on it.
Say it now. Ba-ba-ba-ba. You know what? Yeah. What I do is I the second I have the thought, I'm like, get it out, and it's in the middle of somebody else, and then I'm like, so somebody will be saying, all right, here's something really important. That episode of The Simpsons like, just pops. No. All right, so we already did House Poole, so here's the other extremely sad house. There's your hint. I got another.
Well, it's clearly a
really
moose.
Specific hint.
So it's House Maine.
Yeah.
Who else is like extra sad?
Oh yeah. I believe this person is way behind because they also just did.
Oh.
They're way behind. They'll get there. Oh, Dave right away. Dave got it right away, and Thaddeus.
Okay, so that is a moose, right?
Yes. Equally as sad as Poole, if not more sad. And they have something else in common. Let me know when you want to hear it.
It's not Casel because they
Poole
go
was
south,
in Northern
They
House?
go south and get killed, but that's not as sad as Jane Poole.
No, this is though.
Sorry, if Poole was in Northern House, why was it on the other side from Rob?
It isn't.
Yeah, Jane Poole's Sansa's best friend.
Jane Poole. We already did it.
Oh, my bad.
I don't know what you're thinking of.
No, I was thinking of his fucking wife.
No, his wife is Jane Westerling.
Yeah. That's it. I get the Janes confused.
Oh, well, that's
thanks, Mary.
Who is as sad as Jane Poole?
As sad as
the comments are nailing it here. No, Thaddeus is on it.
Was it in a similar vein to Jane Poole?
Yes, like really similar.
Oh, okay. So one of the houses that the fucking who got killed in the street with him?
That was Casel. Jory Casel did.
Oh, that was Casel.
That was my first thought too.
So Casel is also sad, like Poole.
Yeah, this is more sad.
More sad.
House Poole.
Sadder than House Poole. Fuck.
Or as sad. You and your F-bombs. Just like we were fine. I thought that you were like, all right, I'll stop. And then literally in the last minute, you've done like 4. And I'm like, bro.
YouTube doesn't care if it's not in like the first 7 seconds.
I know. Heard. It's you know what it is, and it has nothing to do with Russ. I should apologize to Russ. You can drop F-bombs. Wait a few seconds. But it's because I've been really working really hard on my swearing that when other people are doing it, I'm like almost jealous. I'm like, what do you get to swear? Like, what do you get that cut of steak and I got a sirloin? You know, like it's like it's just stupid crap. You're gonna get mad now because it's so
wait. It's Lady Hornwood.
Yeah,
Hornwood.
Oh yeah,
and it's got moose horns and that makes sense.
Literally, if you ask
I was trying to think of someone else who like went to King's Landing with him and like got their whole family wiped out.
Jane Poole's dad. You were trying to find connections to Jane Poole's dad, not Jane Poole.
Yeah, my head also immediately went to other people who went to King's Landing, but then I remembered like I was thinking of just other sad things to happen.
Who did Ramsay do it to first?
Yeah,
this is the second. Jane Poole is his second victim. Yeah, like he has hundreds of victims, but that he forcefully married and then tortured to death. Like Jane Poole survived for better or worse,
as far as we know.
But Danella Hornwood is one of those chapters that it's like,
my mind went to like, who else is sad? And I'm like, well, Theon's sad. Oh wait, Ramsay. Oh, his first wife. Yeah,
you got it, man. You got it. I think Swift X finally did another Akaka bridge last night.
Yes, I caught the end of that.
He did that chapter, the Bran 5, I believe, where you hear about Danella Hornwood, and they caught Reek.
Reek, yeah.
And it's funny because in the middle of a chapter that's just like Bran stuff, that paragraph happens, and it's like, and there's the drunk guy has to carry Bran, and they make Frogman jokes and blah blah blah. So Danella Hornwood, and it's like, oh my god, just out of nowhere.
I like the way the Reek situation sort of plays out in the books, especially compared to the show with like the the underhandedness and everything.
So I had a thought about that during
a trickster, like Ramsay's a trickster more than just
because I don't think Ramsay in the show would debase himself like that. Maybe if he felt his life was on the line, but I feel like it would be out of character for him.
So I had a thought about that too, the whole like Ramsay pretending to be Reek thing. For all the people who like say, we have too many secret identities in these books. There's no real evidence for that. Imagine like if that happened between books and we had to sit and think about it and people were sitting there arguing like, no, guys, I bet that Reek is actually Ramsay pretending to be Reek just so that he can save his life. And he killed the real Reek. Everyone would be like, you idiot, get out of here. And George is like, nah, for no reason, actually. We're just going to have a secret identity to get Ramsay out. Like, it's fine. He could have totally written that any other way. He's just like, nope, sneaky secret identity. I'm just going to set it up and reveal it right away.
Well, it also sets up Ramsay's character.
It does. Yeah. It does.
Theon dies at the end of Clash. Dies, right?
Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
Dude, there's 2-3 books until the first Reek chapter.
It is, yeah.
So imagine if this fandom exploded in between any of those. Theon would be dead. There would be fan theories. Oh, maybe he kept him alive and he's torturing him. We'd all be like, no, you idiot. Theon died, yo. Like, that's like 10 years, dude. Like, there's 3 books.
I was thinking about this with Lord of the Rings as well. Because at the end of the second book, they let you think that Frodo might be dead after he gets bitten by the spider.
Yeah.
I remember being, as a kid, the first time reading that, I remember being so angry. Because I don't think the movies had even come out yet. So I did not exactly know what was happening next.
You read those as a kid?
Oh, yeah. Like 6th grade.
Thanks for queuing me up. We got so much left, guys.
That's fine.
All right.
It's only like 11:20 here.
I know. I want to at least keep this in 3 hours, so I think we're doing okay. All right. House Stark times 10.
Wait, what?
House Stark times 10.
Okay.
10 Stark. April said earlier that she believes that this is an offshoot of Stark, but I think that that's just got to be headcanon because I haven't actually seen anything saying that. We all just kind of assume. And also, nowhere in the books does it say that these are dire wolf heads. They are wolf heads. I think that just because we connect wolves to the Starks, that we have to think that this house is an offshoot, which is funny because the actual offshoot has nothing to do with wolves, right? So, but anyways, I just had to get that out there. I do not believe that this is actually an offshoot.
So it's not something like Grey Stark or something.
No, and Grey Starks do not have a sigil, and somebody already guessed it. Dave has been on it, and this person's been on it too, just like 20 minutes late. They'll get to us saying.
Okay, does their name have anything to do with wolf heads?
No.
Okay, the color gray.
We've said it like 4 times.
Fuck.
We've been talking about this house.
If you think I remember things that I said 5 minutes ago, you haven't been
Dustin?
paying attention.
No, not House Dustin. And my cat has to just write up the hey.
Hello, kitty.
Show cat.
Capone's a jerk. He's right here. I'm not touching him. He bites.
Oh, he's behind you. I see.
Yeah.
Hi, kitty.
So he's one of the only cats. I went the wrong way. He's one of the only cats like this is fine, but he can't do. He really like most cats I know like they're lower. He does not.
My youngest will yell at you for. He won't like claw you or anything. But he'll yell at you.
Like you're making
if you
do it on
go
camera.
below his shoulders.
All right. He normally more violent, but I think
my 16-year-old Siamese loves belly rubs and will get mad at you if you stop.
Our 16-year-old cat is now diabetic. I went for one of those dark jokes.
My grandma has like a 25-year-old farm cat at this point who's been blind for like a year and a half now. And like we didn't think he was making it through last winter, but like he made it through this winter, and I have to take care of him.
When does he get to be a house cat? Like at how many years does he get? He paid his dues.
He couldn't use his litter. He wouldn't use his litter box when he could see. Now that he can't see, he lives in the garage, and we put down those like puppy pads for him. And whenever he like poops on him too much, we replace them so that he could stay in where it's warm all winter.
That makes sense.
But,
our cat Ted, Theodore Roosevelt, Teddy. It was my wife's cat before I met her, and I've known her for 12 years. He's like 15. He was just peeing on everything, and then it started to get in one spot, and it was the corner of our hallway, and that sucked the most because like you can't, like it's right there, like we have to step there. So I would spend every morning trying to clean it, and we were trying to do all this stuff like changing the litter of his litter boxes, putting like the stuff to attract. And then finally we took him in thinking he was out of it because like he wasn't eating anything but wet food. And we thought he was just circling the drain. Turns out he was diabetic. And so it has slowed down. He is now getting, and also he lost a lot of weight. He was 6 pounds when he took him into the vet. He's not a small cat. So now he's gained weight. I have to give him shots twice a day, every 12 hours. So he's doing better. He hasn't stopped peeing in that spot, but I now have a litter box in the hallway, and it stinks because now it's just there's a litter box in your life, like right there, not hidden. And I have to put in the little spot tinfoil down so he won't pee on the carpet there, and he'll actually go into the litter box. So my life has just became a litter box out of our love for the cat. Like this, we're doing the best we can, but it's just like I can't have anyone over now because it's like, hey, come into my litter box.
Mine I found under an abandoned house about a year ago. And she got cystitis right away, which is from stress mostly, but that means she can't pee. So she had to get like these shots to, steroids and stuff like that. But so she's on a prescription diet to take care of that. But additionally, I just put an inch of litter in her tray, and every time she uses it, I just toss it and sanitize it so that there's no like growth. What you can use is horse bedding, wood pellets. You can get a 40-pound bag for like $6, and that's the same as the pellets that they use in cat litter. Double check to make sure it's the right. Like Google what type of wood is okay for cats, because there's some that have oils that aren't.
I've been doing the crystals. You can buy them rather cheap.
I just add my own baking soda and activated carbon to it, and there's no smell whatsoever.
Oh.
Like the stuff, it's supposed to be for aquarium filters.
Okay. Here's something hilarious going on. My 17-year-old cat walks around the house screaming at everyone, and then April just said, that sentence is also my life.
Sounds cat.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. Or were you gonna say something?
Yeah. This. All right. Yeah. Keep going.
Oh,
I didn't see it. What was it? Put it back up.
Sigil we just saw that we're trying to guess.
The
wolf's heads.
Since he hasn't played the stay on target yet, I was just gonna say my super old cat. His name is Babysitter because when he was like 1 or 2 years old, we had farm kittens born, and when the mom would go out hunting, he would hop in the box with the kittens.
Oh,
2 of those kittens lived to be 20 years old, and he has now outlived them by like 2 years or so at this point. So he's very, very old.
All right. That all being said,
Stay on target. We're too close. Stay on target.
I almost played this one because I knew you knew I was going to play
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
It's still one of my favorite.
It is good.
I've used it like multiple times, and we had like moving channels. I had to get the clip again, and the one that we had on the old channel, it held on to Sarah Silverman's face like one more second, and she goes, like she reacts.
What was the other one that I sent you during your last live?
Sent me Nerds and
I can pull it up.
it was something else. I don't think I couldn't save it from that. You did it in a format that I couldn't save it from.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll throw it on Imgur.
Was it the You're Killing Him? Stop, You're Killing Him. It was another one. I had like a bunch that I still want. Anyways, you guys giving up because we've all moved on.
Oh, because it was on Facebook. That's why.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, we couldn't save it from Facebook. We've been talking about it. It's House Casel.
Oh, okay.
As in Jory Casel and Roderick Casel and Beth Casel.
There you go.
I called it a lordly house because Roderick's a knight, because it's in the north, I didn't want to call it a knightly house because landed knights applies that you get knighted, therefore you have a house, and no one in the north gets knighted. So it's just a noble house, right? It's just a smaller noble house. But because George only has Lord, High Lord, and King, which is lame, by the way, he should have barons, dukes, so on and so forth. So we know that these smaller houses are actually at a different tier, but instead they're just lords and other lords and petty lords, which is very murky. Anyways, I had a whole argument with this dude who's like, no, they're not lords. You're dumb. Nothing makes.
It's really problematic. It should be more problematic that there's no evidence required for being a knight. I mean, we see that there's like a challenge for like if you're trying to enter a tournament that has like a cash prize.
Somebody that was there.
Like if you just show up, maybe I guess if you try to show up to some lord's army and you're like, I'm a knight, they'll be like, I mean, we'll call you one, but we're not going to pay you like one, until you prove yourself or something.
Yeah.
Husband Kettleblack just got to say this dude in Essos named me, and it's like who? He's like Robert Stone.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Dunk and Egg.
Dunk exactly.
Is
Is it explicit that Dunk was not knighted?
Yeah.
No, it's pretty hinted, but it's not like ever direct. Or well, I guess I don't know. Does it ever in his head say?
Said. No, but he gets nervous and he blushes.
Yes.
Like it's clear that it's not. He just never says it.
It's not explicit, but it's really
somebody
really
will call him like, oh, this knight, and it'll go in Dunk. Notice he has this on his feet because he's now looking at his feet like he's getting nervous. Like, hey, here's one you'll never get.
House Foot.
Close.
Woodfoot.
Fuck. House Feet.
No, Woodfoot doesn't have a sigil.
Proudfoot.
Close.
Proud Feet.
keep with foot.
Whitefoot.
Hornfoot.
You'll never get it. No, it's Lightfoot.
Oh.
Yeah,
I would not have gotten that.
I was about to
only
start
one
making
of a million adjectives. Come on, guys.
I was about to start making an inappropriate Nickelodeon-based joke.
Oh no! So you just watched.
I only found out about. I didn't watch the documentary. I've only been seeing clips on TikTok. So I only found out about the feat today.
The documentary is fantastic. I've known about the feat for a while. So Philip DeFranco brought up when Dan Schneider first started getting like the accusations, like when I can't remember her name right now, but the chick who wrote the book that brought up, but she doesn't even name Dan Schneider straight out. She just like, oh, and one of the producers there, super weird. And people are like, oh, is it this one? Because he's super weird. But anyways, that documentary is like, whew, it's not like Leaving Neverland, holy crap, like and it gets to some p-word stuff, and the famous person that suffered that abuse does talk about it, but they're not specific. Like I was like, well, that's awful, but the way it was like described in the Michael Jackson one, like it was stuck in my head because somebody painted a horrible scene with words and I couldn't get it out of my head forever. So I was like, thank you for not saying specifically, because I like, as a dad, you just can't hear that stuff. It burrows in and stays there. Yeah. It's awful. But the documentary is really good, but yeah, absolutely a little rough. Somebody's apparently working on the Disney version. Well, one of the actual P-word I'm talking about becomes a registered sex offender and then it does like 16 months or whatever, and then gets hired at Disney. Yeah, I heard that one. I know that I don't remember her name, but the girl who played Ren Stevens on Even Stevens has stories. Oh, I bet. That sucks. Poor. She's got a podcast now. Christy Romano or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
We were all that age demographic, right?
Yeah.
I rewatched Even Stevens like a month ago.
Dude, I couldn't. So right when we got like my wife like, hey, let's do Even Stevens and Lizzie McGuire. I'm like, yeah, it's like I can rewatch Boy Meets World, so I can rewatch Lizzie McGuire and Even Stevens. I couldn't. It was like so not good. Like Boy Meets World, I think holds up. Those two do not.
Well, what I really liked about Even Stevens was a lot of stuff that I didn't notice when I was a kid. Like he worships all of these, legendary comedians, and he has like their posters and videotapes of them and stuff. I didn't know any of those names that he was saying when I was a kid. Now I do, and I'm like, oh shit, like this kid has taste, man.
Yeah, he was looking for his Chris Farley Best of SNL. Yeah, I had that video. I had the Chris Farley.
Like when I saw Even Stevens, I don't think I'd ever seen Chris Farley on SNL.
Here's a hard one.
Bolton.
Yeah, there we go. I had to do it at one point. Okay, let's start cruising.
I mean, that could be Da Vinci.
Hilarious. Here's one you'll never get.
Yeah.
Merlin spears and a griffin's head.
No one say Connington. Although, 3 of those letters are the same.
The same as Griffin?
No, same as Connington.
Same as Connington.
Yeah,
so is it Con or Tongue?
Thank you. Jen and McCurdy's book. Actually, almost both of those, but without the
Carrington.
It's Condon.
Condon.
Condon. Yeah.
Okay.
How's Condon? Yep. I would have never got that.
That guy used to host the Late Late Show.
Here's one of the other Skagos. And it's a great sigil. I actually really like this one. I think it's very striking.
Yeah.
Is that supposed to be a hint?
No.
Oh.
Nope. Sometimes I just got opinions.
Genuine artistic critique.
I did go to art school. And I do love primary colors with black is always a big one for me. Like yellow with black. Yeah. Maybe not so much blue with black, but definitely red with black and yellow with black.
Have you seen that really good TED Talk on flag design?
Nope.
No.
Nerd.
Oh my god. You have to fucking watch it.
Oh my god. I want to.
It has like.
I want to steal your milk money right now, dude.
I literally think it might have tens of millions of views. It was fucking huge.
I bet. Nerd. You would think with all the sigil talk, I would learn flag words. Because I don't know them, and I'll look up the sigil and to be like, hey, but like 5 flowery words I've never heard of, and I'm like, I don't know flag talk.
I did learn flags briefly when I first played Crusader Kings 2, but then I promptly forgot like half of it.
Yeah. So anyways, you and your Crusader Kings, a lot of people keep telling me, hey, are you playing it? I'm like, no.
It's a really, really good game. Like, if you want to play a Game of Thrones video game, the Crusader Kings mods for Game of Thrones are probably the best.
I know it's insane because I'm such a Song of Ice and Fire nerd, but it's like one of 6 at equal level. My fandoms, I am this steeped in like at least close to 10 fandoms, and probably this deep in at like 6, I would say. In fighting games is my video game one. I don't really play any other fighting games or video games. I played Baldur's Gate for like a hot minute and finally I made a character I liked, and I still didn't make it out of Act 1, and I went back to Tekken because Tekken came out. Like I played Street Fighter for a while, and I kind of plateaued, and then I played Mortal Kombat, and it wasn't that great. It sucks because I was a Mortal Kombat guy, and then I played Baldur's Gate, and Tekken 8 came out, and I haven't been able to play anything else. Tekken 8's so good.
I got up to level 79 on Space Invaders last week.
There you go, nerd. And guess what? Back to Fallout. Elder Scrolls and Fallout were the other, like, if Elder Scrolls, God, if you want to talk about how A Song of Ice and Fire is quote dead, which it isn't. People tell me it is. But there's no, like, what are we doing here? It's clearly not. Right. And I've even, like, I'm having 3 conversations with myself at the same time right now. But I reconciled with a friend of mine. We kind of had a falling out like 3 years ago, and I had coffee with him, and we're trying to patch things up. And I told him what I'm doing for my YouTube channel, and he goes, people still care about that stuff? And I was like, yeah. They do. And then it was funny because I was like, my next one down would be the Elder Scrolls, but if you want to find a deader fandom now, like even the Elder Scrolls YouTube creators are done. Like Fudge Muppet's not making,
there was
they're not even.
There was so many good Elder Scrolls. Like there's so much good content for Elder Scrolls, but it stopped years ago.
But Fudge Muppet was amazing.
Fudge Muppet and Camel Works are really good.
Were great. I was making their builds. I probably made like 20 Fudge Muppet character builds.
Yeah. So I actually like recently just downloaded a bunch of mods for Skyrim on my laptop and played it for the first time in like probably 2 years.
Nice.
And it's like it was really good, but also I was just bugging out like crazy. Some of the mods I had were bugging out too hard where I don't know if I'm even able to finish my save because I'm like freezing to death as I walk down like a path because it's telling me I'm in the water even though I'm not. So I'm like, okay, I can't go to portions of the map or I'll just die. But like,
dude,
what I was going to ask,
Bethesda's so good.
Yeah, what I was going to ask is, do you think the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be good, or are they going to just screw it up because of the last several games? Because I'm worried.
I hope they're learning their lessons.
Right.
But here's the thing: I don't own an Xbox. I play on PlayStation, and I have to feel like Bethesda told me. I don't matter. Like I'm sorry, but I don't know how else being console exclusive. I don't know how that's not supposed to be read as we don't need you. Like that's really how it felt. And it's like, but I played them on. I played Mormont on original Xbox, of course. But once Oblivion came out on PlayStation, I haven't been. I don't need an Xbox anymore. I don't need to buy 2 consoles. Right. Like, I want to play 2 freaking games. I play Elder Scrolls and fighting games. I don't need 2 consoles.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I always played it.
Starfield.
I always played it on PC. I haven't played Starfield or Fallout 76, but like just everything they've done since Skyrim, everyone's just hated. And I do agree. I hope
love
they're
Fallout
learning their
4.
lesson.
Fallout 4 was not.
Oh yeah, I guess Fallout
Starfield
4
is fine.
Fallout
you can't walk into it with. You just can't walk into it with the expectation of what they advertised.
Right.
That was the problem. Is they set expectations too high. Well, that's not the problem. There's more problems than that. But they set the expectations too high.
Let's go. Here.
Hit that button.
Here's a hard one. I didn't know this one. I love this one. You could probably work this one out.
Horseshoes.
That's also what she said. I was watching Pokemon with my daughter. I think I tried to say
Where
this earlier.
horses go.
And there's a character who's only in a couple episodes with an Onyx, and they're trying to solve an issue. And she
I forgot to close
said,
chat, so I think I already know this one. Sorry.
My Onyx is long and hard and no, she literally said like big, long, and hard. And I was like, what are we doing here, Pokemon? I know how hard it is to make a television show. Multiple people saw and edited and read and directed that line, like we all know.
Dude, Pokemon is dirtier than most properties, right?
First to take the black. Yeah.
Doesn't the original Pokemon theme song in Japanese tell you to look for Pokemon everywhere, even under a girl's skirt, which is why Pikachu runs between the girl's legs in the theme tune?
Maybe.
I'm pretty
that's
sure
apparently a real bad problem in Japan. To the point where all smartphones you can't turn off the shutter sound on the camera because they have such an upskirt problem.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They made a law about that. You have to not be able to disable that.
It's messed up.
And it was well accepted enough that they put it in the Pokemon theme song. And they also had to
I
adjust.
wanna be the very best. Ride up your skirt and catch them.
They had to also adjust a bunch of the character models from the early Pokemon games for America to give them longer skirts and cover their legs and stuff on the girls.
Nobody has gotten it, and this person's still really far behind because they just made it to Hornwood.
Okay, so if nobody in chat got it, then I wasn't spoiled.
I'm sure you could work it out. What person makes both of these?
Blacksmith.
Yep. And what are they both made out of?
Iron.
You got it.
Steel.
Put it together. Nope. You said them both. Put it together.
Black steel.
The other words and not steel.
Ironsmith.
Ironsmith. Thank you.
Process of elimination.
I got it as wrong as you could within those parameters.
There's four
words to choose from. Use those two words, and then you're like, it's steel? No. All right. Here you go. We talked about it earlier.
That's the Isle of the Green Faces.
Oh my God.
I was going to say Thistle, but we haven't talked about that earlier.
If you weren't the most reliable person to get on live streams, you show your worth because you always show up. So I can't get too mad at you because I'm always going to have at least rust. But then I feel like I know that. Well, he can't boot me. I'm the only one who shows up. I'm kidding. I love you.
We can get him demonetized and he still can't kick us out.
I could. Hey, it could be Thistle, but it isn't. That's a cool one.
Yeah, that was my first guess.
Thistle.
Thorn.
Lots of thistles. Wow, Dave's really good, and he didn't get it. Haha, you guys stink. I'm gonna go.
House Nettle.
No, and it's the. I'll be right back. It is the last mountain clan.
Oh. I don't honestly remember the names of the northern mountain clans.
Yeah, I don't remember a ton of them.
I honestly forgot that they even existed for the most part, except for when Stannis tries to go recruit them.
Did he say it?
Yeah. No. Yeah, we got it right while you were gone.
Yeah.
What was it?
We forgot.
Chat said we were right though, and then they deleted it.
Yeah. You're really
but we also weren't looking at chat.
Right.
Yeah.
Chat just told us what they were saying.
We cheated and then uncheated. And no, it's Nori already.
No, we actually didn't cheat at all, so we don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's House Nori. Okay. Here's the hardest one, and I'll give you guys 3 seconds because you won't get it. Because
Daytona.
I never knew this one. In fact, I'm curious if there's any actual lore.
Wait,
Checkers.
Yes, House Checkers.
Oh, the Checky Water.
Yep, you win. It isn't the Checky Water.
Who has the Checky Water, though? I'm trying to remember.
That's Osgray.
Yes, that's what. Osgray. House Osgray.
Oh my God, bro.
Osgold.
Yes, that one.
I hate everybody.
Oh, wait, is that? No, that's not Blue Up.
You'll never get it. It's just fun.
Oz.
Here, let's
The Great and Powerful.
This house is a noble house from north. According to semi-canon sources, they blazon their arms with a checkered silver and gold fess on black. the known blank during the time span of the events of the Song of Ice and Fire are no members appeared yet.
Okay.
Okay, so let's check out the semi-canon source.
It's like a card game or something random.
We'll see here. Open a new tab. I swear, I'm pretty sure. Oh my god. The link is to the actual page. To the same page.
The semi-canon source is the wiki itself.
Is the wiki. Oh,
Someone
no,
just made this up.
There you go.
Someone just made this up. It doesn't exist in the books, but they can't prove it doesn't. So they're just like, well, maybe.
Yeah, this is slowing my internet down trying to find this house. It's called House Overton.
Yeah, wouldn't have known that one.
Vaguely sounds familiar.
It doesn't. You're lying. It literally hasn't appeared anywhere in the books at all.
Well, then it's probably not from the books. Yeah. Let me see.
I just looked it up.
Yeah, you got Search of Ice and Fire up.
Crap. Yeah. Couldn't find anything. Oh wait, I'm assuming this is also a Craddockman house because of the name.
House Frog.
Here, I'm seeing if it is one. Oh,
House Swamp.
Wiki of Ice and Fire is failing me right now. My computer is failing me. I hope you guys can still hear me.
Yeah,
we got you.
All right, because I had to X that whole page. Got to be a winner, Johto. Got to be a champion. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of Pokemon lately. This is another. Even the house that I'm showing you guys right now isn't anywhere. It's the exact same page.
Okay, so I'm looking at House Overton on the Wiki of Ice and Fire, and the source that they're using is Westeros.org.
Oh, okay, cool. So it's okay. So it belongs in a semi-canon.
Yeah.
So this is probably very similar, but the name makes me think Cronigman.
How do they describe this sigil? Because I can't even tell what the fuck those are.
With a bend orange on a very gray and green.
On a very gray and green?
Yep.
House Mud.
On very
no, they're in
green and green.
Close. Actually House Mud.
Yeah,
right?
but it isn't actually. Yeah.
House Dirt.
Okay.
Dustin?
There's no way April knew Overton.
If anyone would, April's probably a good bet.
Yes, Battle Frontier did have the best opening. You are awesome for catching that. It's actually, I believe it's Johto League Champions. That's what I'm saying. Johto League, it's the second Johto one, but they're like halfway through Johto. That's where we're watching right now. They just met the Steel Trainer Jasmine, and they're headed down to. They just fought the Ovaline Island Gym. It's the episode I'm at with my daughter. But anyways, got to be a winner, Johto. Got to be.
Johto did have some banger opening songs.
Oh, bro. Yeah. I mean, I have to put like Pokemon wise, Gen 2's close to my favorite, but game wise, Gen 4, because I like Gen 4 Pokemon and they remade Gen 2 games. Yeah. So like I nuzlocke Gen 4 a lot. Like Gen 4 is pretty good.
Do you have a memory of like finding out Gen 2 was coming? Because I still remember like the day my mom told me like, hey, they're making more Pokemon. I'm like, there's more? And she's like, yeah. Like apparently they're making more Pokemon. I'm like, oh my god, and then got like a poster and put it on my like back of my door in my room before the games even came out.
Later Kanto and in the movies, they started peppering in the next gen pretty hard. Yeah. And even in Johto, they threw in the chameleon Pokemon as in an episode, and he's Gen 3.
Yeah.
So I was like, whoa. But Meryl, Snubbull, and Togepi are Pokemon before Gen 2 came out.
Yeah.
Like, because Togepi is straight up, and then Ho-Oh's in the second episode. Or first episode.
Yeah.
So, that's for Gen 2 right there in Season 1. Or not Season 1, Series 1.
Yeah. I also mostly dealt with Pokemon through the games. I didn't like watch the show like all the time. I watched the show some and played the games like crazy. So then, yeah.
So Heart Gold and Soul Silver, and I have to put Platinum. So Emerald's Gen 3. I want to put the Emerald of Gen 4, which is Platinum, as probably my favorite Pokemon game. And probably my favorite's a Nuzlocke. Heart Gold and Soul Silver are so fun, and they're my favorite gen, but Nuzlocking them is really difficult. But anyways, I don't want this isn't a Pokemon podcast.
One more Pokemon thing that happened literally today. The Relic Castle site, the one that like hosted all the fan games and stuff, got shut down by Nintendo today.
Oh,
like, Nintendo took down like the biggest fan game site that exists.
Wow. So, this is
that was after the emulation thing.
Yep, I know that.
Yeah, so I'm convinced Nintendo's very upset that they couldn't sue Pal World, and they're just suing everyone else that they can sue because Pal World got away with it. But that's my take.
They're just telling us that they like Pal World because what they're doing is they're saying, see, we would have sued them.
Yeah,
we're suing everyone else, but we liked them.
Yeah.
According to the wiki, I'm going to read the entire wiki.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. It's the same as last time. It's, this is from Telltale. So this article is the White House. I said it wrong even. It's not called White House, but it's
White
close to that. This article is for House Blank as it appears in the Song of Ice and Fire. For the House Blank that appears in Telltale Games, click here. So this is a noble house from the north, according to a source. They blazon their arms with a white pile, inverted on indigo, and arch of blue pointed stars above. There are no known ones at all. So
White Castle, House White Castle.
That sounds delicious, but no. It is. Russell, do you got a guess, or do you just want me to tell?
I mean, it looks like the New Zealand flag, so I'll go with that.
Yeah, but I hate New Zealand and all Kiwis, so it's not.
Like the fruits and the birds.
Last one? What was
and the people?
What was the one that sounded like a Kranich Man house that didn't have?
Did we never say it? Moss.
Oh, okay.
Moss. Yeah.
All right.
I actually don't hate all of people from New Zealand, just one person, and this person ruined all New Zealand for me. So, White Hill. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds like a real house.
Yeah, it does. Here's one you guys have seen.
Yeah.
Well
heard of.
No, I should know this one.
Dave got it. In-house. Did I ever say the name of the other? Did I ever tell you guys that this one was Crowl?
No, we didn't miss that one.
We talked about it. Yeah, we never actually said it. Yeah, House Crowl. It's the second of the three Skagosi houses.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one more Skagosi house.
Okay, I definitely remember looking up something for one of my videos and seeing that sigil.
We do visit their seat, or at least characters do. Maybe we don't. I don't think POV does.
Acorn Hill.
The problem is, I remember I was looking up sentinel trees in the books, and they said, there are 3 sentinel trees on this family sigil, and now I don't remember what family that is.
If I tell you their seat, will that help?
Yeah, maybe.
Torrens Square. It doesn't. Okay, we tried.
No, I feel like I should know that though.
Close, Dave. Close. And no, not Glover. We haven't used Glover yet.
Okay, it's not Glover.
Narrow tree.
And then Dave got it second. Dave, you got it second. First he did say tall something. Tall something. Tall tree? Tall gloves? Is it tall gloves? It's Jackal. Is it Jackal?
All house.
Jackal.
Jackal. No, you guys giving up, or should I give a really?
Yeah, we're far enough in where we don't need to guess for 5 minutes each time, probably.
All right, cool. House Tall Heart.
Okay.
Because of a heart tree?
Yeah.
You get it?
Is a heart tree the same as a sentinel pine?
No. Heart tree is just the tree that's in the middle of your God's
Yeah, the heart trees, whatever you're
normally
centered around.
it is a weirwood, but there are God's woods in the south where they don't have weirwoods, so they just have like a big elm or a big oak or a big tall heart.
Do they all have faces in them?
Nope, just weirwoods. Well, no,
no, they carve. I think the
right.
heart trees have face. The heart tree is the one you carve a face into.
Yep, because there is a type of tree that wildlings, after they get north of the or south of the wall,
they carve some in oaks.
Into a random tree. I don't think it was an oak, but it was something like that. Maybe it was a sentinel tree.
Yeah,
well, they were describing several, and an oak was definitely one of them.
Right. I think they just carve faces into whatever trees, but oaks definitely. Some oaks have had faces carved into them. Maybe not those.
The heart tree does, regardless. Yeah. It's just like old school graffiti, you know.
Well, you need the children of the forest to be able to spy on you through the trees, so you got to carve a face.
I mean, how can the gods answer your prayers if they can't see what's going on?
Keep your theory crap at your channel. I'm tired of
my completely true theory about how the government is spying on you through your heart trees and your birds. There's that whole line where Brand's like, there's someone else in that bird when I warged it, and Brendan's like, oh yeah, all these birds have children of the forest souls living in them. Just like, what? Wait, can we use these to send your mail?
Can you move past all birds are spies?
Yeah. Well, the funniest thing, I wanted to make a short about this because there's that whole TikTok conspiracy theory about how birds aren't real.
Birds are...
They're machines that the government uses to spy on you. And George Martin did that like in the 90s in A Song of Ice and Fire.
The really subtle thing on Fallout 4 of how you find out if you just read the one thing, like you find out all the ravens, all the birds around in Boston are cameras for the Institute. And you can only find out like there's one little thing like, oh, another camera. And it's like a picture of a raven or something. They describe a raven. There's no pictures on the computers, of course. But it's like you blink and you miss it. That all of them are just spying for the Institute.
That's funny.
It's so great. And I think that that's just a reference to people thinking that in our real world.
Yeah.
They're government drones. Birds are not real. Listen to him.
It's true. In A Song of Ice and Fire, at least, the birds are all government drones, and the government is the children of the forest.
Yeah, you don't do much shorts, right? I don't remember seeing.
I haven't done any shorts, no. I've considered it
every other day.
Yeah.
But I don't put a lot of work into them. You know what?
Yeah.
You know how I discover a short? I think, oh, that's a house or a place or a person. And if it's a person, it's like, that's a person I can't cover. Like, they're not big enough for me to cover.
Yeah.
Cool. Like, here's an example. I literally, like, just right before we started, I wrote House Woolfield down. And then I was writing my video for Kago Corpse Killer. And there's a guy who he gets in an argument with named Lucifer Long. And I was like, Lucifer Long? Click. And it's not Longwater's Long. It's House Long, possibly the House Long from the north who used to be in charge of the Wolves' Den. Okay. And there's no Longs in the north, and we know of two Longs, and they're in random places. One of them is Unwin Peak's Master at Arms at Starpike. And then the other is Lucifer Long, part of the Windblown. And they might be part of House Long, might not. And it's like, done. Made it short. Like, oh, that's interesting enough. Like they don't have to be, it's just like, oh, all right. Cool.
House Long, more like House Short.
Whoa. And then I recently did a House Cole just because of the other Coles who were both like random sergeants in the Golden Company. Okay. And now I've been liking doing like every blank of the small council. So like every No Master of Whispers is one coming up. And then I have all of Magor the Cruel's Maesters. Really dark short because it's like, and then this guy complained and got killed. And this guy complained and got killed. Maester Bennifer, what happened to him? He ran away. He actually didn't get killed. Good for him. All right. Here's one. So this house shares a town with a bigger house. And when Ramsay, I did do a short of this house. And then when Ramsay Bolton visits them, the bigger house in the city refuses to let Ramsay come into their place. And they send them to this smaller house. And these guys host Ramsay. I forgot about all of that.
Yeah,
I've made that short.
I've also forgotten about all of that.
Yep. I had to make a short to know that.
There's so many little events in these books that I've just completely forgotten about because they haven't become relevant in anything I've thought about in years. And so when I like mostly take in these books through Search of Ice and Fire these days. So it's if it doesn't pop up in that, I'm lost.
And then the head of this house has one arm. And if you want a hint,
it's
the beer I was drinking.
It's not one-armed Donald Noy. No,
it isn't Noy. No,
it's reminiscent of Toyne.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
Well, what's Toyne?
Toyne is the yellow field with the black bird on it.
Oh, you looked it up. Okay.
I was scrolling through your shorts to see if I could find this one.
Did you? Okay.
No, I couldn't find it.
Yeah, my beer is my hint.
Your beer is your what?
House brown water.
It's a hint. It's more specific.
House Guinness?
House Stout.
Oh, Stout. There you go.
I don't drink Guinness. That's brown water. Dude, Guinness, I drank really strong stouts first. I got really into Russian Imperial stouts. And then I tried Guinness, and I think it's because I already kind of ruined my palate with really, really, really strong, really rich tasting stouts. And Guinness just tastes like crappy water. And I was like, I can't do Guinness unless it's part of a drink. I'll do a Russian car bomb. Well, not anymore, but I used to before I got in my 30s, and I can't do shots anymore. How's Guinness? Somebody else said it too.
I always thought it felt like or tasted like sweet coffee.
Oh, yeah, like sand water.
Sand water?
I don't know. Me and Dave could hang out. That's all I'm saying. All right, here's a bigger one. Definitely one of the names you've heard before.
House Budweiser.
Nope.
Bracken?
Nope. Bracken's in the Riverlands, and the fact that you said that makes you a loser.
Yeah.
Know that.
I should. I don't. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. The Blackwood's in the Brackens fight.
Technically, I
why
should
a
have...
horse.
Sorry, go
ahead. I think I was thinking Bronco. Because I'm like, what? Why is the word association where Bracken came up first? I'm like, definitely Denver
because
Broncos.
House Bracken. Nope, because House Bracken do have a horse.
Do they? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
But technically, I should have Blackwood on this list, but I didn't because they are technically from the north.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
So this house has 4 sons, and they all have 4 different color variations because they can't get along.
Oh. Oh, that wouldn't be the Fossaways.
It would not be the Fossaways.
They only have 2 colors.
True, and they're also from the river, the Reach.
It's also an apple.
Yeah.
Yep, not a horse. And April has now got it twice. I don't know why she repeated it. And it isn't Dustin. We are still not doing Dustin. And House Torin, I'm glad they're getting caught up, is not a house. Torin Square, Tall Hearts. I love that there's somebody who's 20 minutes behind. They got to know where, they got to came to the point that we've now noticed, right?
Yeah. They think we're talking about someone else.
You are wrong. We're not hanging out anymore, Dave. Fucked it up. There, now I swore. Got to be a winner. Choto.
House Firemain.
Oh my god.
Redmayne.
House Riswell.
Redmayne sounds like a real house.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, Eddie Redmayne. And I hate him.
So this house is good with girls then. House Riswell.
Eddie Redmayne's good with girls?
House Riswell?
Riswell.
Are you on TikTok enough to know the phrase Riz, Taco?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Russ must know Riz.
Yeah, he knows TikTok.
He's on TikTok.
He's a TikToker.
That's
Riz it's attractiveness.
It's like,
but you have
charisma.
it. It's something that you have.
It's like charisma, but also like not quite, but pretty close.
In Tekken, I played against this guy who I had a really good competitive match with, and then afterwards they sent me a friend request, and it's either so they could send me a message of how I'm a loser, or so we can play more. And they didn't send me a message that I was a loser, so I was like, all right, cool. So I just like messaged them like, hey, I got nothing going on. I'm getting my butt kicked and ranked. Do you want to do a first to 10? So you can play up to 20 matches. You just set up first to 10 wins. But I realized how old I was when they responded to my question. Hey, do you want to do a first to 10? They responded, bet. I was like, I'm old. Because I would never respond that way. I don't even know what that means. So I was like, is that a yes? I think that's a yes.
Taco's married long enough to have a kid. He didn't need to learn what Riz means. It's fine.
I've been with my wife for 12 years. And
there you go.
And I haven't had a mistress for at least 10 years. I'm kidding. Oh, it's been way more recent than that. Close to. Oh, cool. You're close to being caught up. All right, cool. You're getting there.
Watching on like double speed.
Oh, that's so funny. Did we finish? Yeah, we finished her as well.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Our final Skagos.
Broken tree. Penny tree.
Is graying FRFR-OG no cap. I only know that those are like I know of those phrases.
If you had to guess what those things mean, we're guessing sigils. It's your turn to guess something.
Yeah, I've heard no cap.
If you had to guess, okay. If you had to guess,
I know F's in the chat, but that's not what F for.
FR on G. That's your first guess.
No clue.
I've never actually seen on G abbreviated that way, but because I know what it stands for,
I know what it stands for.
I don't know what graying means.
I assume they're calling him old, like his hair graying.
Okay.
Nick, we used to be friends.
FR is a casual. Yeah.
For real?
It's for real.
Yeah, for real.
On G?
On God.
On God. Okay, no cap.
And
no
cap means you're lying. No cap means you're not lying.
Yeah. Okay. I made graying up. You nailed it. All right, we're friends again, Nick. All right, come on. The last Skagos Island, and you almost said it earlier. No, you almost said because you said isn't blank a house, and you were one letter off. You said it isn't.
Oh, Skane.
But it isn't Skane.
Skine? Skeen.
No, you're changing the wrong letter. Stain.
There you go.
You looked it up. I don't believe you at all, Rust. Just because you're denying it, like, no, did I guess it? I don't trust you at all.
I mean, that's a real word that is one letter off from that. So
yeah, it
sounds like a dumb name for a house. How's it spelled?
Stane.
I guess that's a little better.
Yeah.
So what does it mean then?
It means house stain. I don't fucking know.
No, what do any of these things mean?
Yeah. What are we doing here? We're all just saying gibberish and arguing about it. Anybody really know what stain it is? Oh man, we're running low.
Are we?
I wonder if it's short for something.
I think we bet on track better this time than we ever have because we just knew. Never mind. We had some pretty big ones. I scrolled up. I didn't say we finished Crowl, so I typed done next to these, or else I would never know. So, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I saw Glover. That one was 6, Glover, right?
7
Mormont.
8.
We know. Okay, we know some of these.
9.
Okay, we definitely know. I know several
10.
of these. If the last 10 were a test, I would get like at least 40%.
Yeah, I've been saving some of that.
So, stain comes from the Old English, and it means a place of stones.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that fits Skagos very well.
All right, you want to get this one out of the way then?
Yeah, we got Mormont.
Yeah, we got she-bears. So which one is having an affair
wait
with
a minute.
Tormund?
Does that bear have a dick?
I'm assuming no. Oh, it does. It totally does.
It definitely does.
They're the she-bears, so that one's got a cock.
I mean, that's very funny that's on the sigil.
It's straight up as a dick.
Like, they didn't need to put that for any reason, and
we wouldn't have laughed at it if it was early on in the show, but since we noticed it like 2 hours in, we're like laughing like schoolboys.
I mean, it is objectively pretty funny that they included that detail. Like, so many of these are just like 2 lines, and it's like 2 colors, and they're like, no, we need the dick on our bear.
There's this really long and fantastic Tekken lore video called The Insane Lore of Tekken, and I've watched it like 4 times. And this guy like blew up. He's been on YouTube forever. I'm forgetting the guy's name. And you know, he never broke like, you know, more than like 10 grand or 10,000, like maybe a little more. But it's at like, you know, 4 million, 5 million views. Okay. And he's like, I wake up to, you know, 20,000 views every day on this video. And it's like, oh my God. And it just exploded. And but in it, this picture makes me think of it because he shows an actual picture, no fan art, but like a real promotional picture for the character Lee. And he zoomed in, and in his tight leather pants, they just gave him a dick. Like, he's got a big old dick. And he goes, oh, and Lee's got he becomes a playboy. I know why he gets all the chicks, because of his giant cock. And like, no, I didn't mess with that. That's the actual image. It's like, and I've never forgot that. It's just stuck in the big old dick's just stuck in my head.
That's funny.
Oh my God, we're not going to stay monetized.
We'll be fine. We're so far in, they don't care.
They don't care anymore. This one we do meet one person from this house, and they're actually a pretty decent character. Like, they're around. Auto-corrected you into this stain? Okay. that's a weird auto-correct. Save the easiest for last. Hey, we use Bolton and stuff earlier.
I just
thought of weird shaped Skittle.
They are caught up. Good job. Stain is Scottish.
It's a weird
little
Skittle.
Oh yeah, sorry. Here, let me move this house out of the way so we can.
It's like a jelly bean shaped Skittle.
Nice. Oh, that is weird. I wouldn't eat it. It's roofies probably.
I also just thought of Viserys named Rhaenyra his heir, but he got auto-corrected to Aegon. Auto-correct.
Auto-corrected! Oh. Boom. Have I ever told you what I never made a short for because I don't like editing? But the line from House of Dragon season 1, I think I've said this on a live stream before, but it's when like Daemon just shows back up and he's got Alicent there, and Alicent's like, hey, do you want to check out these tapestries? And then Viserys just makes fun of her. Like, oh yeah, you want to see the tapestries? Like, and it's so rude and awful. And I just I've always wanted to just flip to me wearing a Viserys wig. Like, don't mind her, Daemon. That's just the child I used to make children. So I said that in it was like a David Lightbringer breakdown of that episode, and somebody's like, that's a little harsh. She's an adult. And I'm like, she literally isn't.
Yeah. Not in the books, at least. Like,
I don't think that actress is either. Or at least she's not portraying. Maybe not.
Yeah, right. Probably not.
A 16-year-old.
Yeah.
And then they start well, back in those days, I'm like, oh, shut up. It wasn't the R word yet.
So it was literally it was only the nobility that did that sort of thing, marrying children. And even they knew better than to do anything with that child until it was old enough.
Yeah.
Like, they're not stupid. Like, you kill them and they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, obviously there were people who did whatever they did who were awful people. But
are you trying to tell me that people in power were not always awful? I like that people like to blame Hollywood. And
No. I'm talking about it being in their own. I'm talking about it being in their own self-interest.
Yeah.
Not to have their first child and wife die in childbirth because they were 16
children,
especially if it was a politically important marriage.
Viserys' first,
and you needed an heir.
In the books, Viserys' first wife gets pregnant. If you do the math, she's like 12. Emma Aaron, no, not Emma Aaron, the Aaron, but she's like 12 or 13 because
Emma
she really needs it. Is it Emma?
Emma is the first. It's with an AE, but Emma, yeah.
I get her and her mom mixed up because they're both equally not in much of it. Because her mom's a Targaryen that goes over there, and she gets pregnant really early on too, and she dies right after. And she writes that really sad letter to good Queen Alicent, like, I'm pregnant and I don't know what it is. Come help. Because they have a simple child that they marry off to an old man. I'm not a big fan of Jaehaerys and Alicent, honestly. I did the first time. I was like, I like them, but the more I read, it's like, ugh, Jerry, you're kind of a jerk. Like, good king, awful parent.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about doing a best and worst dads for Father's Day for A Song of Ice and Fire. And I slightly worked on the list, and my wife looked over and she goes, "Your list is wrong." I'm like, what? She goes, "You're number one." I'm not going to say who it is. She's like, "It's wrong." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Because it's not Craster." I was like, "Oh my God, yeah."
Oh yeah.
No. Like, well, Craster has to be number one.
Yeah, it's pretty unbeatable there.
Yeah, you can't really get past forcibly marry or sacrifice. Like, you either get forcibly married and R-worded or fed to monsters. Like,
yeah.
Not to mention the fact that he's potentially creating others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, forget just, for a second, just forget the crimes against humanity.
He's got to be top 3 most evil characters.
Yeah.
That's right.
Do you think do you think the others would have another source if they didn't have him?
Probably.
Yeah, I bet not all the others are his sons, but he's definitely helping their numbers probably quite a bit.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I don't believe we said that we might have said she was young in the books. You're right. She was aged down in the books.
Oh,
or from the books.
You're right. Yeah, that's correct.
She was a teenager when old King died, when King Jerry died in 2003. And so you're absolutely
because they made her sisterly with Rhaenyra rather than evil stepmother.
Yep. Sorry, Nick. We're friends again. Are we still looking at this house and we can't pull it?
Yeah, no.
So he is absolutely a
Poultry.
character. He is a northern guy, and he shows up. He sticks around. He's still alive. He's hanging out in the Brotherhood Without Banners.
Oh.
Who hangs out with them?
Is he the one that Arya recognizes?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So do you remember that scene when she gets kidnapped by the Brotherhood Without Banners and the old Stark Bannerman's kid recognizes her?
Was I right? I am. I'm right. Yep. He was the captain of the guard.
I don't remember for sure.
You ready?
Does it have anything to do with the tree on the sigil?
No.
Does it start with M?
Yes.
Is it Mollander?
Mullen.
Nice. Okay.
Hullis Mullen with an O.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Hullis Mullen, or also known as Hal. I don't know how I haven't done a video for him. Oh, I now know, because there's no art. Wow, he has no art? That's a surprise. Huh. Yeah, that's sadly something I need just because it's a visual art form that I like. I
commission an artist on Fiverr.
I don't want to spend money on something I don't make money off of.
Yeah.
And use AI generated.
I was gonna say take his book.
It's morally ambiguous for me. I don't know how I feel about AI generated.
Don't let the angry mobs get to you.
I went to art school. I'm an angry mob. I'm part of that angry mob.
Taco, I
should
had an
just
art
do it.
teacher. I had an art teacher who made all of these arguments that digital art was soulless and it was taking jobs from painters, and you didn't have to learn the proper skill to hold
I
your
had an
brush
artist
against
who
the
would
canvas.
tell people that anime isn't art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As old as art is, saying new forms of art are not art is just.
And I've always been against that. You're right. I've always been against that. But there is a difference now. It eventually comes to personal preference. And I was on the bandwagon that I never liked photography. Like, because it's just showing me something that exists. And I had to then see somebody show me a picture that was not something that existed. They changed it enough, and they gave me a new perspective of reality through this photograph. And I was like, okay, this is something cool. But I hate seeing reality as reality. If I'm looking through the eyes of an artist, I actually want to see what those eyes tell me. I want to see what the artist teaches me. Taking a picture just kind of, I never saw that. So I had to see enough photography until I started to get why it could be art. But on that flip side, I always hated when somebody told me some things weren't art, because the lack of, quote, skill or realism, people would start to tell me my stuff wasn't art because I wasn't following the rules. And I said, Marcel Duchamp held up a urinal in 1919 and he called it art. And they're like, yeah, but it wasn't art then and it isn't art now. I'm like, it is art. It was art then. So I'm bet on both of those sides, but my only issue with AI generated art is who's the artist.
It depends, right? Like, I've heard people say, like, oh, you can't express yourself if you're just typing a bunch of words into a generator. And my argument is, language is how you express yourself.
Yes,
that's the whole point.
I'm not taking away the expression. I'm not saying it's not expression. Because I even consider web design expression. You're still expressing yourself.
Yeah.
It's like my dislike to like Jackson Pollock, because he's not placing those drips, right? Like,
right. Well,
that's
my argument too. Is like, if that's art, I mean, what are the arguments, right? Like,
I at least want to see somebody touching the canvas.
Also, there are a lot of AI art generations that aren't just like the ones that are the easiest online version where you just type in the words. Like, there are a lot of them where you like can set the style and you can create the whatever. But also, it's like, at the same time, I do agree it's not art that requires as much skill as like a hand painted piece or whatever. But that doesn't mean it's not.
But I already said skill should be taken out of the equation 100%.
Like, I agree. I agree.
I mean, art's really complex, and this is coming from somebody. I'm literally an expressionist artist. I haven't been painting since my daughter was born, but they're still in my garage and in certain galleries and in certain coffee shops. They still exist. I see them every once in a while. I got art out there, and I do have an Instagram. I just don't talk about it on our channel, on my channel, because it's like a different thing. But I don't use brushes. Like, I paint right on hand on it. A lot of people would consider what I do not having a lot of skill, but it's because what I'm going for is expressing a specific emotion. I'm trying to make you feel hate or jealousy or despair or question your morality or mortality. All that things I just said, I don't get from AI generated art. And maybe I'm looking at the wrong stuff. And maybe you're right, because at the end of the day, I really want to do a Thor and the Hungry Wolf video, and there's definitely no art of him.
Yeah. And that's the thing for me, is it's like,
I've used AI generated art before, just not from me.
Right. And it's also the case of like, okay, you've already stated clearly for other reasons, you're not going to hire someone to do this, because there's so many things where it's just like, it's not worth your time or their time to hire someone to do something like this.
Yeah.
And so for those cases, it's just perfect.
Well, and I also, I have a weird little guilt of just using, Mark Taco Face on Instagram. Check it out. I also have like a thing of just using people's art, and I understand that this is a visual storytelling, and we need to do art, but that's why if I can't find the artist to credit, I won't use it. I refuse. Sigils, I can't find. I don't know who created them all, and I know a lot of them are just, 80 sigils were made, and then they just rip apart all the other ones, and somebody put them all together. But
yeah,
if there was somebody to credit, I would. But when it comes to all the other art, I even credit like Elio Garcia, whose works on the stuff, but they use AI generated stuff for certain art, and I'll then credit the person who generated that. But
I think the person who generated it is the artist, because I mean, you're using a digital art tool.
Yeah,
it's just the most advanced one. It's if dragging your like mouse across the screen is making art, this is just a more advanced tool, right?
Yeah, and there's skill. I mean, there's knowing what to type in, knowing what it looks like, and the source material.
And it's also having artistic vision to know, like, if you generate 10 different versions, knowing which is the best one, trying to iterate on that, take it and feed it into the image to make it better.
We have some Pharisees in the chat.
Pharisees?
Yeah, it's a biblical reference. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I don't.
They were religious leaders that doubted Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesus in this case is AI.
I'm not one of them because
your conversation. You're talking about your dogma.
Yes. Okay.
Do we have all right? Stay on target. Let's get back.
Yeah.
I know I did that. Because I have like gifts I wanted to use tonight, but they just haven't came up yet.
Put them up, man.
Yeah,
I sent you that Shrek thing too.
It needs to be.
Oh yeah, there are. Do it.
Put something in the private chat to tell us what to do to get the correct situation for you to use your gifts, and then it'll look organic to the audience.
And wait a couple minutes. All right. All right. See, now we know. Now they all know that I'm telling you guys what it is. But if we wait a couple minutes, they'll not know when it's going to happen. All right.
Russ, that seems like your job.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Ooh, that looks familiar too, or sounds familiar.
The crown is interesting.
Because it's like the first king or something.
I was gonna say they must have been a king back in the day.
Or the Baratheons were kings, I guess.
These must have been one of the petty kings.
I mean, before the revolution.
Hey, what was the kings buried in? Some type of barrows?
Oh, Dustin? Yeah. Okay.
How's Dustin? That's also where House Stout hangs out with. They're in Bowerton too. All right, here's one I would never come up with, and whenever you guys no one's gonna know, and whenever you're ready, I'll tell you.
House Lily. I don't think those are lilies.
Barbara.
House Lotus.
House Lotus. You are wrong.
That is probably closer to the correct flower, though. The
Black Lotus.
It's not the White Lotus from
Black
Avatar.
The Dahlia.
Stop.
What?
I know that we were waiting for you to. I feel like you're accidentally pushing me to use the.
I'm just naming flowers, man.
Oh man, it's my brother's birthday now. No, it's in 30 minutes. This thing lied.
House Pansy.
House Pansy. You
Tansy.
are the best.
Sunflower?
No. It's not named after the flower.
House Black-Eyed Susan.
All right. You know what? This is for you.
Jerusalem Artichoke.
I know you weren't even trying to get me to use it, but
I was going to say, you've had so many opportunities for that.
I know. It's House Fenn. Fenn.
All right.
That's not a flower?
Nope.
Probably
I don't think so.
Okay.
I also
Probably
have
not, yeah.
another SLC punk that I haven't had a chance. Ooh. And then, of course, the Han Solo shrug is always.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, just us trying to stay on track.
They are lilies, by the way.
Oh, my God.
Really? Okay.
Fuck you. All right.
I got that right. Dang, I didn't know I knew
You should have
flowers.
confirmed it for him.
I didn't know I knew flowers. That.
Oh God, this is a weird one, man.
Yeah.
Oh, we talked about it earlier.
We talked about
This is
like 200 things earlier.
Well, we also talked about this one.
I have to remember that these are like someone's imagination and not actual, because it's like
Okay.
those eyes are a little too sharp.
There is a house that there is multiple of.
Oh, the fucking Flints.
Yeah, Flint of Widow's Watch.
Okay.
Yep.
So watch maybe because it's eyes. I don't know. We already
That would
talked
make
about
sense.
everyone.
Glover.
Knows immediately.
Glover.
House Glover. Glover's good.
Glover, I barely even know her.
And then I said Super Collider. I don't even know her. That's a Futurama one. It's the robot open mic night.
Oh, yeah.
Super Collider. I hardly know her. All right. We're running low. Oh, here. This is a hard one. These guys might be
House Moon.
Yes. No.
Oh. House Lunar. House Crescent.
They might be. Oh, they are a mountain clan. I lied. There's one more mountain clan. These guys are a mountain clan.
Yeah.
Live in the hills.
Unless it's something moon related.
A certain character, Ronald Blank, is a ranger in the Night's Watch, part of the Great Ranging that sets out to fight Mance Raider and look for Benjamin Stark. After the fight of the Fist, Ronald is among the remaining men who retreat to Craster's Keep. He commands the Rangers after the death of Thorin Smallwood. Oh, cool. I just did a video for Thorin Smallwood. That's coming up in a couple weeks. Maester Aemon sends a raven to this house to plead for help to defend Castle Black from the wildlings.
Ronald
Weasley.
Redfort.
Red Forts are from the Vale.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that.
What does it sound like?
Is it an R name?
It doesn't sound like anything.
Orange.
No.
Ronald Orange.
Purple.
Flay. I guess. I don't
Flay?
know. Ends with A-Y. L-A-Y is the last
Ronald.
It sounds like Flay.
Ronald Slay.
What's the name of the a dude who ran for president multiple times? Against
Vermin Supreme.
No. This is for yes,
Ross Perot.
No. This would have been against Jacksonian Democrats. This is for Rust.
Jacksonian Democrats.
He ran multiple times. He was like the Whig, and he never made it. Yeah. Are there Jacksonian Democrats?
Fuck. Little Jimmy Madison.
No.
Yes.
No. Well, yes, but no. He wasn't a Whig. James Madison was a Federalist.
Yeah, that's true. Franklin.
Henry Clay.
It rhymes with Slay. Oh, Clay.
It's Clay. So this
Clay.
is
Okay, that makes sense for a mountain clan.
Henry Clay.
No, it isn't. It's Harclay. That's what I said. It's hard to find a name that it sounds like Harclay. I don't know why I had to bring up Henry Clay. Bring him on. All right. So Harclay done. We're getting there.
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. Okay. We did Ironsmith.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the sword and horse.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we never did this one.
Yeah.
House
Bowling Green.
House
Yes.
Black Balls.
House Green Squares.
Checkers and balls. I'm going on break. This
those
house,
are all the checkers. The black
rubber
checkers
buns and
are just
liquor.
One.
This house has another house of this name in Dorne, but this is the northern version.
Ironwood?
No,
there's not an Ironwood in the north, is there?
No.
Like,
you know how long it took for me to understand that Ironwood is said Ironwood? I was like, Yarnwood.
Yaronwood.
Yeah. Yarnwood.
It's okay. George pronounces a ton of shit really weird himself. He says Dothrakai.
I was about to say
Dothrakai.
Like, yeah.
That's the one I can't get over. Lisa Aaron, I'm like, okay, I get what he's saying. Dothrakai. I'm like, what are you doing, George?
It's like George Lucas calling it a laser sword in all the behind the scenes shit.
George Lucas.
Yeah.
It rhymes. No, who was I gonna say? Who here says Peter Baelish? Because those people are wrong.
Yeah.
I say Petire.
Yeah, Petire. Oh, that's even worse. Oh, that's wronger.
I did.
It's just because it's been blasted into my head by the audiobook.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I did like getting to make a George Lucas joke in my video about Danny's womb, and I just had George R.R. Martin with a quote bubble coming out being like, Danny's womb is the key to this. If we can get Danny's womb working correctly. And then someone in the comments is like, oh no, now I'm thinking about Danny's womb as Jar Jar Binks, and I can't get that out of my head. Thanks.
Danny's womb is Jar Jar Binks.
Her womb is the funniest character we've ever had.
I was gonna say something about. Oh, now I lost it. I think it was misspelling things wrong.
About.
Yeah, no. There's a Pokemon Nuzlocke who very like straight face, like he's not saying things wrong. He will say Pokemon's names wrong.
That's funny.
Like,
that's
casually.
a funny bit. Yeah,
it's great. So like Lapras, he says Lapra. Which is really good. And then Magmanite always says Magnite, which is fantastic. And then like good. He's got a lot that he'll just break them out every once in a while, and I'll just but Lapra will always. I'm like
Lapra is very good.
Lapra, yeah, he's got a feel that he'll break out every once in a while, and
that's a good one.
Yeah. Yes, Slowpoke is like Slocopy. Because he pronounces a P-E at the end. Slocopy. It's like, oh my god, bro. Yeah, no, that's really good. We never did this one.
How do you pronounce the water legendary dog or cat or whatever, legendary beast?
Suicune, but I never know.
I don't know if it's Suicune or Suicune or whatever.
Suicune I've heard as well.
Yeah.
I'm in a Pokemon role-playing game.
I pronounced it Suicune as a kid, but
yeah,
I also have heard Suicune.
Suicune. It's House Wells.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Those 5 black holes are wells, or you?
I guess those are holes in the ground.
So I saved the really hard ones for last.
All right.
And I'm like hiccuping. We know both of them right away, but yeah. Number 1 of my favorite house of all time when I made that video before I started doing a Song of Ice and Fire content.
The Reeds.
I think maybe I had Dane as number 1 because I was a predictable loser when I made that. Yeah, you gotta love House Reed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of love. Hey, Capone.
Unless fucking Reed Howland is doing a Grandpa Joe.
Oh yeah, Grandpa. I recently started calling Jaehaerys the First, the Conciliator, the Oath King, just Jerry, and I don't know if anyone else in the fandom calls him Jerry. And when I start doing it, I'm like, that's genius. How has no one called him like Old Man Jerry? Because like that's so what he is. And I don't know
what Jerry.
He is such a Jerry. Don't be a Jerry.
Old man Harry.
Harry. Yeah. Henry Clay. Somebody got it. I don't know what's going on here, but somebody's running and winning. Hey there, green and whites. Never. Okay. Oh my God. How's Gator? Yeah, that's actually how they invented Gatorade in Westeros. That's why they call it Reed-Aid. Yeah.
And that's why you can't get it in Westeros because Howland Reed never aids anyone in anything.
Oh my God. Because he makes castles disappear.
They don't have Gatorade. Instead of Gatorade, they got Gator Don't.
I have to give Michael credit on making castles disappear Oh my God. Thanks, Capone. That's why I don't want you around. Leave me alone. You're knocking down my crap. Go.
We have a cat sighting.
Oh my God. What a jerk. You guys get to see.
Your setup looks similar to mine. TV trays and a laptop.
You know,
that's what I've got right now. Yeah.
No.
The back-to-back.
Oh my God. Come on, get over here. All right, you guys are gonna look at my belly. Yeah, it is TV trays on the laptop. Because I'm awesome.
3 TV trays in front of me right now. So I have one for my mic, one for my laptop, one for my shrimp.
I got a really good, really good couch, so I only need the one TV tray.
I'm on a kitchen counter.
This is the stuffed animal
we couldn't
I chose
fucking tell
to cover my modem.
Yeah.
I always have a stuffed animal up there, and no one ever says anything.
Oh, I just got gigabit internet today.
Get out of here!
Nice.
You're gonna keep knocking my camera down.
Well, I got it the other day, but I finally got my gigabit modem.
Oh my God, what was I talking about? I had
I don't
something
know.
too.
I don't know. Ask the chat.
It's not my job to remember,
you have
man.
to give. You were giving me credit for something. About
I had to give you
castles
credit
disappear.
about the disappearing castles because we always assume they're talking about how Greywater Watch disappears because when they're telling the story of Howland Reed, he has the power to make castles disappear.
Yeah.
And we always think that they're talking about, but he's at the freaking Tower of Joy that gets, and you made that connection to me. And I was like, oh, that's genius because that castle disappeared.
And it doesn't make that much sense for 2 dudes with a baby that they have to get to like a safe location to pull down a tower without some sort of magic.
Yeah, I agree with that. But like, oh, I'm sorry. So you're saying that he used it to destroy the tower?
Well, so Russ, the other power that he has that I think this one was given to me by comments and I made a video on it. So I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good point. Someone pointed out one of his other powers is the ability to turn earth into water and water into earth. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, dang. If you just do that under the foundation of a tower, that's a way better way to take down a tower than like...
I thought you meant like he was like camouflaging it, like a cloaking device.
April?
That's probably what it
No,
usually
you
is.
didn't. Okay? You didn't see the body.
But like...
It's a couch. There's no bed.
Rust, he could be the Monty Python guy who built 4 castles and sank into the swamp, except for he sank the castles, and he can also raise them whenever he wants to move to the other one.
Or maybe the castles all sank into the swamp, and that's the story he tells.
Yeah. Well, I think I even had a meme in that video where I'm like, Howland Reed has the speech bubble, and he does the whole, I built 1 castle, it sank into the swamp. I built a 2nd castle, it sank into the swamp. I sank the castles.
Was it you who played the whole... No, or was it David Lightbringer that played the entire Monty Python castle?
He probably, I think he did that in one of his videos I watched. Yeah. I think I've seen that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I know Lightbringer has done so much about Mount Kalen, but I'm really surprised you haven't been touching that a little more because there's like a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll get to it eventually. I've got a lot on my plate.
I'm glad you have stuff on your plate. The only reason I ever bring something up is just to make sure you don't run out of stuff on your plate. But if you have enough stuff on your plate, I'll back. Like I just want to make sure that you're kicking.
I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I'm going to
keep you in the kitchen, dude.
Once I get through the next few things I've got, I will have a period where I'm going to have to look for some new ideas. But I got a few more on the list of things to do yet.
They definitely have that forest ancestry.
Yeah.
Who stood on rocky shores and kept the beaches shipwreck free. Sorry. I listen to a lot of They Might Be Giants. It's just something that you're going to have to deal with. I was listening to Primus in my car with my daughter, and she really likes the Primus song Too Many Puppies. And I'm talking to I'm leaving daycare the other day. This is 2 stories. And the teacher goes, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Is there a nursery rhyme or something that maybe..." She keeps asking for a song, but we can't find it on any of the like nursery rhyme stuff. And I was like, "Oh no!" And I'm thinking of like other, because my daughter she's 3, but she listens to a lot of Rob Zombie. I got her into the Rob Zombie, so I was like, "Oh no, is it gonna be a Rob Zombie song?" She's like, "Yeah, it's called Too Many Puppies." I was like, "Oh, it's a Primus song." No, sorry. And one of them, you could tell that like two stoners in the because the girl's like, oh, I've never heard of them. And then a dude like 3 doors down's like, told you it was Primus, Katie. I was like, yeah, that's
that does sound like it would also be a nursery rhyme.
oh,
though.
absolutely.
Yeah.
The song's like a protest song about like sending people off to war. And so it's like a really heavy song. But it's too many puppies being shot in the dark. Yeah. No, so yesterday, here's the second one. After that song plays on Frizzle Fry, the next song is called Mr. Know-It-All. So I like said, she's like, is this Too Many Puppies? It's like, nope, that was the last song. This is Mr. Know-It-All. So she starts going like, Mr. Know-It-All, I like this one, you know, but she says it all, you know, with a cute kid impediment. And so she's like, my favorite bands are Mr. Know-It-All, Too Many Puppies, and Primus. I was like, well, let me explain. So Too Many Puppies and Mr. Know-It-All are the songs, and Primus is the band. And then I'm like starting to think of other bands. So I'm like, you know how Rob Zombie's a band, Primus is a band, and They Might Be Giants is a band, because I get her into They Might Be Giants too. I'm a really awesome dad, is what I'm. This whole story is just so you guys know that I'm getting into really cool music. So when she gets really excited about it, and she keeps repeating it, and she says it all. And then she gets into our house and she's like, Mom, I learned something. And I'm like, this is going to be so cool. And then she completely butchers it. She's like, Too Many Puppies is a band and their song is Giants. I was like, dang it. Like, just completely screwed it all up.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. The moral of the story is I got to get her like a Primus shirt for her birthday coming up.
Yeah.
That's what.
Make like a flow chart of like bands are here, songs are here.
We
Dad,
won't bring
I can't
up...
read. I'm free.
Dang it. Yeah. She keeps asking what things start with, and I feel like she's screwing with me now. Because she'll be like, my name starts with M. I'm like, yep. And she's like, and your name? I'm like, yep. And she's like, what does monkey start with? I was like, you know. You're messing with me.
Have either of you seen like the discourse online and like TikTok and Reddit where teachers are all complaining how kids can't read? And they're blaming like tablets and stuff. And then I found out that apparently our school system in at least parts of the country got rid of phonics. So they started teaching these kids for years and years to read by sight words and like figure things out through context. I'm like, no wonder they can't read when they get to like 7th grade now, because they're more complicated words that they haven't seen before, and they just don't know how to sound things out, apparently, because you didn't teach them that. So my point is, teach your daughter phonics on your own in case the school doesn't, because apparently some schools stopped doing that.
I feel like I am.
Yeah, no, good. Like, yeah, it sounds like you are, which is what made me think of that. But I'm like, keep going with that, because apparently the schools are failing.
Well, I do, point. You know, do the sound of the letter of the first letter, so she figures it out. Yeah, I do that a lot.
Yeah, right. Apparently,
good job
they got
getting her in the Rob Zombie. Hey, thanks, man. Yeah, he is family friendly metal. Absolutely. Your first concert was White Zombie. My second concert was Rob Zombie when I was 10. Megadeth was my first concert when I was 9. Megadeth is also pretty family friendly metal. But now Dave Mustaine has ruined Megadeth for a lot of people. But hey, our final house. Umber. I did save hard ones for last. I didn't mean to do that. I just didn't want to use them early, so that
like I said, if you only tested us on like the last 10, I'd get like a 40% or so. Yeah. But I think I'd got less than a 10% across the board.
That's all of them, bros.
Nice.
Dude, we did that under 3 hours.
Yeah, we thought this was going to be a lot longer. Taco kept us way too on target.
I had a lot of tangents, though. Like, we didn't stay great. We stayed better than normal.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it's when you know that you have a lot to eat, you start eating quicker, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
How's Gen dudes? Giant dudes? How's giant dudes? Okay, I got it. I had to say it out loud. Sorry, I'm graying. I'm graying. What can I say? That all being said, if anyone wants to play Tekken 8 as soon as the stream's done, I'm down. Oh my god.
Drop your gamer tags in chat so Taco can add you on Tekken.
You are super late, but yeah, we just finished them all, Brian. Yeah, no, let me know. Send your gamer tag so we can play Tekken. Unless you play the couple characters that I don't like playing against. Yeah. God, wow, we just died immediately right after we ran out of all the words. It went silent in here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I got an important question for you. Are you not into trains? That's my last one.
I follow this guy on TikTok who's really into trains.
Oh my God, Rust. What happened?
His name's Francis Bourgeois.
That's his name?
That's his name. He's very British and he's hilarious.
Francis Bourgeois. Is he part of the business owners that keep the proletarians down?
I believe it's his accent leads me to believe that he is of that class. Yes.
Bastard.
I mean, he needs to be able to afford all of his trains somehow. So
yeah, that's not a cheap hobby, bro. Being into trains, that's an expensive
the working man has nowhere to put his train collection.
Sorry, automotive trains. Being into trains is actually pretty cheap.
Yeah.
You know, it's just
if you're into trains the way I was as a kid, where you're like, oh, look, a train. I love those. That's cheap. No. If you have the whole model train set up, I
was making a way dirtier joke.
This guy goes train spotting around the country.
Oh, that's super cool.
And because he got big on TikTok, he gets invited to all these train things. He gets to operate trains. They give him a coach on like these fancy trains that go places.
Nice.
And serve food, stuff like that.
All right. Now we're talking about horses. I'm confused.
Dave asked if we have PO boxes. I don't have a PO box.
I do not. Yeah, we do not have. I do not have a PO box. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like down the line when it's like set up a Patreon, set up a PO box. That's like,
yeah.
I have numbers in my head of where I have to be before I think that people care enough about me to do shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right.
I can barely keep up with making videos at the pace I try to, so I don't have time for other things.
Recently, you have really been keeping up. Like at Saturday at 7:00 my time, I get to watch my video because I watch mine just to make sure I didn't screw anything up really bad.
Yep.
And I can be my first like because I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm a loser like that. And then right when I'm done, I'll watch yours. And it's been like a morning routine now where I get to watch your video right after I watch my video.
I hope I get my video I'm working on done in time to go out on the same time. But if I don't, I might have to make a short one for this weekend.
Oh,
and
wow.
then put it out midweek because this is going to be a long one. The next
you're not
one
multiple weeks ahead. You're not multiple weeks ahead?
No, man. I most times finish it like Friday at some point. Oftentimes I'll have to cram. I'm a procrastinator on a lot of that stuff. I have a few videos that I could edit together. Like I've recorded audio for a couple shorter videos that if I needed to put one out, I'd be like, okay, this long one's waiting till next week. But no, I'm not as far ahead as I seem to be probably to the outside audience.
I deal with anxiety a lot by working on the channel where I've been getting to I started being more verbal with this with my wife because she doesn't it's hard to understand how your partner deals with anxiety and things like that. Like even if I've been with her for 12 years, she'll still take certain activities and in my behaviors, reading them differently. And I had to finally verbalize why I feel like I work on my channel so much. And I took so I have a week off from work, which I'm just finishing, and I haven't done it in months, because months and months and months. I've been working all the way through this week and getting 8 days in a row so I can get double time on that because we were trying to save up money for the house, but to buy a house. Anyways, so I took this week off for the first time for mental health. Work has been really rough lately, and it's just that time of the year. The factory, we've been in this rotation since August, and also you're not seeing the sun because it's literally snowed just right now, and and all this, and it's this late in the year and everything starts, and also work just gets harder. Like the factory gets harder to process as it gets cold because now it's processing frozen beets into sugar. I work on a sugar factory. So anyways, everything gets harder and my life gets harder. And then everyone at work starts to not handle each other. So everyone gets testy. So now we're not comfortable being around each other. We're stuck with the same people, so on and so forth. So my anxiety has been getting harder and harder and harder to deal with. So now I took these days off. I was like, I'm going to do it. My wife's like, yeah, absolutely. She's like, money is less important than how you, because I have not been doing well and she knows I haven't. So she's like, take these days off, do it. I said, okay, cool. So I did. And I'm not going to lie. I felt like the biggest, laziest loser because I finally had real days off. And
it's weird, yeah.
I had to set my computer down because I got a lot of work done, and I did all my filming Monday, and I filmed like 4 vids, like 6 shorts, and I knew I was gonna do one for this the trailers that came out today, and I knew I was gonna do this one. So I am fine. I'm months ahead, and my wife's like, set the laptop down, and I did, and it made me feel like I was like lazy and pointless. Like it gave me existential dread, like not doing anything.
It's
like not progressing towards something. And I don't know if it's healthy or if that's okay, but like,
so
dude,
it's millennial guilt.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. And I cleaned underneath my couch. I found 5 of my wife's vapes underneath the couch. 5 of them.
Damn.
I don't even know.
I used to be able to like trick my brain, like when I would play like a lot of like Skyrim or something. I used to like play certain games where I'm making progress on
I know exactly what you mean.
Because I'm tricking my brain into being like, oh, this is productive. And it was even like crazier because I used to have a gaming channel when I was like in high school. Yeah. So it was genuinely productive for me to play freaking Minecraft every day for a minute there. And eventually I stopped making videos, but my brain was still tricked into being like, okay, on some level, video games I'm making progress at something. But yeah, if I'm sitting there doing nothing, it gets to me. And now I don't feel productive when I play video games anymore at this point. So it's like, I need to be doing something else.
So flipping to fighting games was a way to fight that. No pun intended. Because I'd done everything in Skyrim, right? Like literally every mission did it. Every character type did it. Every skill maxed. Like throughout my 80 characters, right? So in every achievement I have, beat the Ebony Warrior. What else do I have, right? So fighting games has a different type of mountain to climb. It's all just skill, and I'm not very good. So I have a very big mountain to climb, and my blindness makes I have really bad hand-eye coordination, so I'm not really good at video games. So I chose a really technically hard thing, pretty much, so I have an unclimbable mountain. I gave myself a Sisyphus, and believe it or not, it's been helping. But the issue is you can lose. So when I play 10 in a row and I lose 10, well, that didn't help. Now I'm more mad. Now I'm mad at myself for making mistakes and screwing up. You know, I'm thinking they didn't beat me, I beat myself. So now I'm even more in an existential grind. So it's like it's weird. Like I almost feel like I should go to work and slave for the corporation for my own mental health, which is just so backwards and wrong.
I had a long stretch there where I just like didn't take any days off and was also working on my channel, and I'm just like, oh, I mean, it is what it is. Like, I felt weird when I actually like had days off from work, and I ended up like working on my channel just instead. And then like I did eventually take like 3 days where I didn't do either of them.
That was,
and I just binged video games. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, that's about my limit. I hit my wall of video games after a couple days, and now I got to get back to it. So
I deep cleaned and watched horror movies the last 2 days. And that was it. And I was, believe it or not, I was excited when I was like, oh, I have to upload a video. And I went down and grabbed my laptop, and I was like almost giddy. Like, oh, I get to work on this. And I also have a book I want to work on, but I didn't get to work on it for months. So I can't just jump right into a chapter right? Like I haven't written it. I don't know what's going on. So I started reading it, and I didn't proofread my first like 15 chapters.
Yeah.
So almost every paragraph I have to rework. So I'm 10 pages into rereading / proofreading. I have like 130 pages, and it took me 2 days to get through 10. So I'm like, that even seems like a bigger climb now. That I'm like, oh my God, am I ever going to get to be to the point where I can keep writing now?
Yeah. Books are a difficult one for me because I've written a rough draft of a book like years and years ago that was terrible and unusable. Like I have to like completely rework it, but like in my brain I've kind of reworked the story. But it's also like, yeah, that process is one that I just have to still get down yet in terms of like how do I actually make productive time on that task.
Doing really well for like a while. And it was because I tried to write books by going, okay, page 1, boom. Yeah. And I attempted that like 6 times, and whatever, 10, 20 pages in, I gave up. Yeah. This time I filled two paperback notebooks, like just regular notebooks with lore. Well, I did one with lore of the world. So I built the entire world. So now I don't need to worry about the world. The world's built. And then I built all my characters. So the other one was characters. So all my main characters is what makes them tick. This is what they look like. This is what they do. This is their favorite food. Boom, 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 boom. There's their backstory, right? And then I did the outline every single chapter. And I decided on my POV characters, my non-POV characters that are just as important, right? Kind of like, how the Gregor Clegane or Sandor Clegane's not a POV character, but he's arguably more important, right? So those guys too. So I have all those characters, and then I wrote an outline that ended up being 76 chapters. So I had about a paragraph per chapter. So now the book's done. I just have to write it, right? Like I now know what every single chapter is. So for a while, I didn't get writer's block at all, period. Like I didn't have time to write. But when it was time to write, so I would be at work 3 a.m., taking a break. I could put down a page. And even in that mindset, I was able to go, well, I know what's going on in this chapter. But after stepping away from it for a while, because I would end every night writing the next chapter in my head and making sure I didn't lose track. But then the channel became what I thought of at night. And then, and now here I am where I'm like, I got to get back to this guy,
that's the other thing about doing content in any form is you're just like, it can take up as much of your time as you want it to. And on some level or another, like if it's the thing that's actually having success, you're like, oh, well, it probably should be the thing that's taking up my time.
Scratching the creative itch.
Yeah.
Exactly. It is fun and it's creative. Yeah.
Yep. And the other thing about writing too is like when I think back on like my writing that I did, 10 years ago, now I've learned so much more where it's like, oh, I had no idea what I was doing or what was going on.
Yeah.
And so now I'm sitting here feeling like, what else don't I have any idea about that I'm going to learn in a year where I'm going to have to go back and rewrite all of this?
Yeah.
Because I had no idea about this part of what I was doing, well, there is that aspect of it too.
I read more books since I started writing. So now my writing style start to change.
Yeah.
So,
right. Yep.
So then when I'm going back, I'm like, because the first 5 chapters were written by Dungeon Master me, Game Master me. Yep. So none of it's flowery. It's very man says this, he wears this, he smells like this. Man says, and it's every sentence. So then now I'm a little more poetic and flowery. So I'm just rewriting chapters holy wooden. Why am I so wooden?
Yeah.
And it's,
that's the thing. I went back at one point into some of my older stuff. I'm just like, oh, I had no freaking idea what was going on with these characters. Really, it was just events after. I just had event, and was like, there's no actual character progression here. There's nothing going on that you need.
I write down mental struggles. There's 2 things that I use to separate all my characters, and I come up with what's ailing them mentally, emotionally.
Yeah.
And then also language. So symbolic language. So if there's a character I know that he symbolically is, going to die, maybe I'm going to constantly use deathy symbolism, right? So his face, he gives a grimace look. He gives a look of death. He has death in his eyes right before he fights somebody. I use grim language. And then maybe there's somebody who is a beacon of light. So then I always use, they're blocking the sun. They are bright. They have bright voice, bright, so I find my language per character. And I also do that to separate my writing styles through the chapters.
Yeah.
In that way, when I'm writing, somebody goes, your last chapter was so foofy and this one's back to being grim. And I'm like, yeah, well, I was writing for the happy-go-lucky person and now I'm writing for the barbarian. Like, of course, like the barbarian's gonna be a little more, and I try to use that in the writing style. So the advice I would give to older you, and now I don't have to do it to recent you, but like it's the find very subtle and separate things that separate your characters, especially if you have multiple different POV characters. And that's just years of role playing. Rust hasn't talked for a while. I feel like he's just here to look good. Hey, Rust. Sorry.
What's up?
We were kind of going to town.
I also feel like being so focused on George R.R. Martin and his best work in A Song of Ice and Fire has set the bar a little high in my head, where I'm like, I see how good George is at everything.
I don't even like the only way that I even write like him is just that I'm a gardener where I'm just going and seeing what happens. But no, I like my writing style is like Edgar Rice Burroughs style, like the guy who wrote Tarzan. Just straightforward, not a lot of metaphor, no subtext. Just
I want to go back and read Harry Potter, because it's like, I know J.K. Rowling isn't freaking amazing at this, but she's so successful with like commercial success, where it's like, I remember it being a lot more straightforward than A Song of Ice and Fire, and I feel like I should probably try to find a happy middle ground.
I was hanging out with one of my closest friends, and he's actually the guy who runs my Pokemon role-playing game here on my channel, Barrett. And Barrett's like, hey, I tried to read Song of Ice and Fire, and the guy's so wooden. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, he's just so straightforward. And I was like, I don't see that. Like, because maybe you just have to dig a little deeper. You got to know a little more. Like, he has a lot of hidden symbolism in so much of his stuff. And then I'm like, well, what are you reading? He goes, I've been reading a lot of Cormac McCarthy. I was like, well, that makes sense, because if you read like Blood Meridian, every sentence is incoherent. It's so flowery. Like every noun is replaced by a symbolic thing. Like he never says, oh, these guys' fingers are worked to the bone working in the fields. They'll say the long spiders stemming from their finger bones. Like, he's constantly using flowery language. So it's like, comparing him to Cormac McCarthy, he's about as wooden as they come. But it's because he is so foofy and flowery.
Right.
And it was hard for me to get through Blood Meridian. I didn't make it through it. It was just I have nothing against violence, but when there's nothing else going on but violence, and it's like, yay. Like, all right, we get to another group of people. We kill them all. Hey, another group of people. We kill them all. I was like, yay.
I don't remember what series I was trying, but it was like, there were like 4 inciting incidents in a row. With like nothing, with no fallout from them yet, no like justice yet. It was just like injustice to the main character after major injustice to the main character after major. I'm just like, okay, I'm out.
It definitely sounds like Blood Meridian. But in a like any time where it's like the point, like it's like something that Quentin Tarantino does, where it's like, oh, the point is I'm trying to show the violence in the world and this and that and this and that. But but Quentin Tarantino's funny. Like he, in between his violence, he's charming and charismatic, and you were engaged because it's funny and it's interesting. But when you just do grim after grim after grim, you need that, you need that smile You need that. I always say the nugget of gold with all the nuggets of shit. Like, I can handle enough grim. I can handle nuggets of shit. But you got to give me like one nugget of gold. That's why I couldn't do. I'm a big horror movie guy, but there are some horror movies where I'm like, well, I didn't like any of this. Like like I couldn't do American Horror Story, the TV show, because there wasn't one cool character. There wasn't anyone I liked, and I need to at least like something. I mean, like, look. My favorite horror movie is John Carpenter's The Thing. Everybody dies. Spoilers, right? It's very nihilistic, but the dialogue's charming. Like, some of the characters really funny. Like, you want to hang out with these people. They're not awful people, even though awful things happen to them. So it's like finding that balance. Is I love the idea of a nihilistic story. And especially if the lesson is, well, we all die. Like, I'm down with that. I'm about as dark and grim as they come, but you gotta make me smile during it. You gotta, like what Russ said. You need a little bit of justice after the injustice, or at least somebody has to make a joke and break levity. You know, like somebody's got a fart in between or something.
Yeah, I feel like George probably does have like a lot of his like.
I think he nails what I just said.
Yeah, like a lot of his like side plots and stuff like kind of keep a lot of like, and he does so many mysteries and like different little things for you to latch on to.
He's
so well
hilarious.
Yes, he is
like,
very funny. Yeah.
Dude, Ed Tullett is a riot. Like, anytime I'm doing rereading a North chapter and Tullett comes in, I'm like, yes, like, yeah, okay, get some in.
Right.
We had to share the rat. I got the tail.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he is pretty good at that. But then there are also moments where it's like Bran is like so sad about eating the elk that Cold Hands rode them to the cave on. It's like, George, they didn't need to eat the elk, man. Bro, Bran.
I like that. Like, I do like that voice you did for Ed, though. The one in my head has always been more like Eeyore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he does have Eeyore vibes for sure.
Nah. That's kind of how. That's my Ed. But I like to. I don't know if you guys watch any of my stuff, but I've been getting more into doing impressions of each character. But I've told myself I'm not allowed to plan it. So I did. Who was it? Mason Daggerhand, Carlton Chestild.
Yeah,
and I like did it, and I was like, no, that's not right. Like, and I was coming up with it in the video, and then I ended up like finding this pose. And it fit. I was like,
yeah,
I think that Rhaegar would make a bad king. And it was like, that was and then finally it's like, maybe we shouldn't burn everybody.
Yeah.
You know? It's finding that. Oh man, I think the first one I did was Raleigh Duckfield. Because there's a smart man doesn't come up with the name Duckfield. like he gets knighted, and then he's like, "We're in a field. There's some nuts." Like a learned man doesn't go, "Well, I would say because of our current location and the type of fowl, we should go with Duckfield." Like that, no. Like that doesn't make sense.
It's like when you need to like send someone a money transfer and you need to come up with like a secret code where you just pick like 3 things in front of you and put them together. It's just like, that's what he did for his house name.
We all know how you pay your drug dealer
passwords.
Somebody's like, you don't have Venmo? Somebody at like work, because we all like DoorDash a bunch of food, and everyone will Venmo me their money for order, and then I'll just transfer it to my account. And that's like what we've been using for a long time. And there's one dude who goes, "Oh, I don't have Venmo." And I'm like, "You got PayPal?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, we know one guy who doesn't buy weed or nudes." Like, I mean, like, how do you buy your nudes off the internet?
I've never had to buy nudes, but
no,
I also use cash for the other thing. So I don't know.
So we have people who like to make.
I mean, I just follow sex workers on Twitter. They post it for free.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's always been free in my experience on the internet.
And like this shit is legal, so
yeah. Man, you guys, I don't know how often you do money transfers through Venmo, but there's always those people who just have like nailed the humor with it. Like I'm not, but there's like one of the guys I was buying food for like everybody on ship just wrote like definitely not cocaine. That got me going. And then there was somebody who just said a handful of loose teeth. And I was like, what? Like, how did you come up with that? Because you're just picturing somebody like handling it.
Yeah.
Here's some teeth, dude. Thanks.
Thanks, I needed those.
This is
little
perfect.
tooth fairy transaction.
So I like to say what it is, but then add a wink at the end.
I use Zelle, and there's no like notes really associated with that. So
do a lot of Venmo, but it's like some tacos, wink. But it is tacos. What? Don't worry about it. I used to do that with my sister because I'll pay my phone, right? Wink tacos with my sister. That sounded wrong. Get your mind out of the Targaryen gutter or inland gutter. And
hey, you connected those dots yourself, my friend. I just laughed.
Yeah, I know. Whenever somebody laughs, you go, "Where was it? Oh, there it was."
I brought up my sister in Song of Ice and Fire stream.
Oh my god.
Yep, my fault.
Doing which character? That sounds worse. There's a Targaryens. Yeah, when I was covering Diana Targaryen, I realized I can't cover Targaryens because I just wouldn't make too many incest jokes. But I'm just like, sneaking out of jail to bang your cousin. We've all done that. It's hard not to make those jokes. In Baelor Targaryen, which I maintain is definitely maybe not one of the worst kings, but I think he's a garbage human. And maybe it's just my lack of religious upbringing, lack of caring about religion. But the act of locking up your sisters and imprisoning them because of your own temptation is gotta be one
Catholic,
of the
very Catholic thing to do.
Yeah, but not your own sister. We Catholics, like, the girls around town got to cover up that skin because of their tempting me. That's also other religions, but like,
I wouldn't be surprised if some Catholic king actually legitimately in history locked up his own sisters because he thought they were too pretty for him to be around.
Maybe
or sent them away or something.
Yeah, there could be some historical.
Not pretty enough, and I just don't get it.
There could definitely be some historical inspiration there.
There's got to be, yeah. So who did it first, that or Mad Max? Because
we have found 500,000-year-old wooden spears.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Really?
I thought tools that went back like 40,000 years, but
okay,
500,000.
There's 500,000.
Yeah, but it was probably not. It was probably just a really crafty mammoth. Like we just assumed tools were just us.
They believe they were Neanderthals because of the date.
Yeah, I've always had this problem with history, and Rust, a lot about history, so you can tell me if I'm completely out of line. But it seemed like we had this thing where we were like, yeah, this is how far back these tools go. It's like, oh, okay, well, how long would those tools last in the most well-preserved state? It's like, exactly this far. If it was 1,000 years old, we'd have never found it. And I'm like,
yeah.
So you didn't think
it's
maybe...
like there was one point.
What about those tools that lasted 10,000 years, 10,001 years ago? Oh,
right.
Yeah,
exactly. There was one point where we had older proof for humans making concrete than we did for humans making bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's no longer. We have much older bread at this point, but that was the state of the science at one point. So yeah, it's you just don't state absolutes. You just don't do it, and then you don't get in trouble.
And there seems like there's a big time where everyone came and wrote a bunch of books, and then a bunch of people studied those books, and they're like, no, this is how old these things are. We know because people did studies on it, and it's always just getting older and older. And they're the older generation of historians would hold to those ideas for a while.
The cradles
until
of civilization, a large portion of them were all a couple years apart, even though they were in different parts of the planet. Yeah. So just every human, they said, all right, let's take over the whole globe, but not figure anything else yet. And then we'll all wait like 20,000 years, right? Just wait. Find some river basins, 2 rivers next to each other. We'll all wait 20,000 years, then start building community.
Yeah.
Really? Like there wasn't community before that? It's weird that they all
I never bought
started
it
at the same time.
Well, it's potential that things like that are evolved, because there are other things that seem to have evolved, like empathy is something that, well, for a very long time in human history, there was, a need for a lack of it in certain areas,
Right?
And because it was evolutionarily beneficial if someone who didn't look like the rest of you showed up if you just killed them right away.
Yeah.
Right. In the grand scheme of things, law of large numbers, that usually worked out so that you had more, your genes were produced more than they wouldn't be. So there's definitely things that have evolved as far as, like, I don't know if you could call it a part of evolution when morality evolves. If it does definitely benefit the species or not,
species, you absolutely can.
It benefits the species, and then
you can call that part of evolution, because even the evolution of connecting companionship with not to sound just callous, but with mating, of love, of finding your mate interesting, that pushed the species, right? It actually changed us physically when we started. I'm hitting my cat because he just found the loudest thing in that room to touch. But no, like looking at each other face to face, right? Like when me and Rust have beautiful lovemaking, how we look at each other's in the eyes now, it actually has changed our physical stature, where animals that didn't do that, like our genitalia moved closer up. And not only that, like even like bigger in comparison to our bodies, right? So it then made human connection more important. So just now grouping more couples, grouping everything. Like it's weird of how that tiny little evolutionary thing that you wouldn't consider physical then led to possible making community and family and all this other stuff, because we started actually caring about the person who you're furthering the species with. Because how many other countless other living creatures
being more collaborative in general is probably why we're the only hominids left.
Right.
Yeah.
Just the ability to work with each other. It
is weird that we're the only ones. Like snakes, there's, every family's got so many different species, except for like 1 or 2, right? And the huge, huge different species branching all the way back. You look at snakes, fish, whatever. Humans, us, You know how far back we have to go to get to the nearest primate? Not even years. I mean, different branches of the genus. We have to go pretty far freaking back. It's super weird. I just have to assume that Neanderthals were just really bad hangs.
No,
we keep discovering new human species too, right? They found the Denisovans. More recently, they found Homo naledi, who, if what they're looking at is true, controlled fire and buried their dead. So
let's go.
I subscribe to the sexy Neanderthal theory, which is that
we banged them out, banged them away.
Yeah, every time we met Neanderthals, we just would mate with them and intermate to the point where we have some Neanderthal DNA in us, but basically they went away because they just joined human society.
Some people more than others.
And it's possible we had a much faster gestational cycle too.
Yeah.
So that we just outproduced them,
There's a funny Salmonella video where he calls it the sexy Neanderthal theory, and he's basically like, okay, so women like large muscular jaws and fit strong men, and Neanderthal men had all of that, way more than human men. So anytime the Neanderthals and the people would meet, the women would all sexually select for the Neanderthal men, and human men aren't going to just be like, well, our wives left us for Neanderthals. I guess
maybe that's why we killed all of them.
No, I think
the idea is
them.
The idea is we just banged them, and there was more humans, so that they became human rather than us becoming them. But then he's like,
there might be something on them being bigger, therefore taking more energy and more food. Because There's the thing of bigger species started dying out because dinosaurs did this really stupid thing where they became warm-blooded. So it took so much calories for them to survive. So then when the mass extinction happened, where the meteor didn't take out everything, it took out all plants. So the things that did survive from that time, crocodiles, certain dinosaurs that evolved in the birds, but crocodiles that were cold-blooded, so they only had to eat because they don't regulate their own body temperature. They just have to eat, so they can sleep, eat a little bit, sleep, eat a little bit. So the little bit of food that was left, crocodiles could live on. But dinosaurs that were giant and had to regulate their own body heat, so not only are they huge, but they have to eat extra because they're warm-blooded. Of course, they ran out of food immediately, and they all died out. And so many of them were, so maybe there's something there of Neanderthals or other type of humans having to take in more food. And during the Ice Age, maybe it was just harder to find, and it was easier for smaller creatures or smaller hominids like us to live on opposed to Neanderthal. I don't know. I'm just tossing
I think the oxygen content in the atmosphere dropped after that as well.
That too. Yep, that too. Yeah. This has nothing to do with the Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
Michael,
are you wall here?
Yeah, I think are you gonna find a way to make a video off
so my joke was actually that because the other part of the sexy Neanderthal theory, just to finish that up, was that all the human men who couldn't mate with their women anymore because they were picking Neanderthals were like, well, we're not going to just bang nobody, so they'd bang the Neanderthal women who are not as attractive and not as feminine.
You're making the sexy giant theory.
Not the giants. So I think some of the First Men houses have Children of the Forest blood in them potentially.
All right.
So I'm calling it the sexy First Men theory because I'm not going to put a video on YouTube called the sexy children theory.
No,
that's not okay.
Absolutely not. Sexy forest theory.
Yeah.
You could toss a little bit of giant in there because it is constantly stated how the Umbers have giant blood, how Hodor is part giant. Like, there is something of we used to bang giants,
and all of the like squishers and all of the brindled men, like all of these things seem to imply crossbreeding with humans in A Song of Ice and Fire is a thing.
Was it David Lightbringer who brought up? No, who was it? Of the Ebonese and brindled men sound like the exact same thing.
David Lightbringer might have brought that up because he posted some recent videos about like Sithorios. And I know he's talked about
it was in the Sithorios video.
Yeah,
where when the way that Ebonese are described sounds a lot like brindled men, which I think is really cool. And it was the idea that the Summer Islands came from different parts of Sithorios. And then the brindled men aren't from Sithorios, they were just Ebonese that got there and then left.
Yeah.
Because the Ebonese are huge seafarers, like they're all over the place, they're whalers. I do like the sexy wood elf video. It's hard to say without saying sexy children.
The sexy First Men theory.
The sexy First Men theory.
You have to suggest that they're the sexy ones.
Yeah. I mean, they are. I mean, who doesn't look at the long, dull faces and gray eyes of a Stark and not think, ooh.
Yeah. The Children of the Forest were like, hey, stop cutting down our trees. Also, we want to bang.
Well, the Children of the Forest would be the Fae, who are famous for luring people into the woods. And making off with them or their bones.
That being said, how ugly are Starks? They're not attractive men. I don't think so.
I mean, I guess I haven't really thought it through.
They're just long-faced, and they're always described as like,
long-faced, gray-eyed. You're not turned on by Ned just hanging dong as he slings open his window in the freezing cold in the first scene.
I am turned on. There is maybe 3 chapters that when I listen, I go, woo!
Catlin 1 or whatever it is
George gets me going a few times where I'm like, George, you dog, stop. No, Soiled Knight, man. Ariane.
Yeah, that one too.
That chapter is hot as heck. Like, I have to, like, my word, George, I'm not. You don't.
Yeah, it's like, and also, George, thank you for writing at least a couple sex scenes with people who are of age in this series. Like, thanks for that.
Thanks for your large, dark nipples. We all know your type. You got a thing for large, dark nipples. And now I do. Thanks, George. All right. We have definitely devolved.
Yeah, I'm hitting a wall here personally.
Yeah, I'm gonna play some Tekken. We went 30 minutes longer than I thought we were gonna make it, so we did pretty good. Everybody for lasting this long. There's actually a few of you guys out there. Either that or it's all of Russ Shadow's accounts. Either way, take it as a win.
All right.
There's a few times that I'm like, hey, we still have 5 people watching, and Russ is like, that's 4 of me.
Like, I'm one. Oops. But no. All right. Bye, everybody.
I gotta say thanks to Michael and Rust, and then thanks to everybody who stayed the entire time. And we made it through the North. We did good, man. All right. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.